Hello and welcome to Martyn Lucas Investor. My name is Sensei and you are here to watch the CPI data come out live. We're going to see if the 3 FOMC rate cuts will be confirmed. We'll have a very, very good indication right after the data is released. And then if the data is better than expected, I am very confident to say that the stock market and crypto market, XRP, will be set to explode. We could go into our last euphoric run. Don't be fooled. We are already overbought. We are already at very high valuations. That does not mean we can't go higher. And in fact, sometimes the data suggests if you are in this sort of market cycle, the euphoria after good news can extend it even further. Let me make this a bit smaller and put it over here. So get ready for CPI. We're going to be covering it live on our show. I'll put a countdown on the screen in a second. But even before that, let me go into the data because we know what we want and we need to be prepared for it. So even if you're watching this later as a video, once we go through this data, you can understand because you already have the CPI inflation data, but then you can link it up to what our newsletter today says about what certain data points mean what. So if it's higher, what does that mean? If it's lower, if we get this certain data point, what does it mean for the market going forward? That will all be explained to you live on this stream. Remember, every morning we send out our very own newsletter. So please do consider subscribing to the newsletter. It has all the information in there every single day. You get all the top stories at a glance. Then you can go over to the deep dive, which has everything about CPI this morning. It's also got the charts of the day, everything like that, plus one-on-one Q&A with me. You can direct message me. There's a community on there as well. So lots and lots of perks. There is a free plan. There is a premium plan. Go and check it out. So let me turn to the deep dive. Someone said Martyn was on your nose. What do you mean, Guy? I don't know what that means. Anyway, let's go to today's deep dive, which is all about CPI because CPI data will be coming out shortly. So actually, before I do that, let me start putting a countdown on the screen. So CPI will be released. Let me put this time on the screen. It'll be UK time 1:30. So let me put that on the screen. There we go. So that is now going to be the countdown up until we get the CPI release. So let me put that there so everyone knows exactly what's going on. And then I'll also write US CPI in. Okay, perfect. Just so everyone knows when it's coming out, I'm just going to put this on the screen. So that's the timer. That's what's coming out. So yeah, this is going to be a massive, massive impact story on the markets. This is either going to push us to new heights, or it could be the start of a crash. But either way, let's get prepared for it. What means what? This could be a very, very, very volatile day. The only way it won't be volatile is if it just comes out as consensus, exactly as expected. If we get that number, then the market might just go sideways. But if we do get better than expected or worse than expected, then it's going to be very, very, very volatile. So someone asked, what is CPI? CPI is inflation. Remember, the Fed wants to look at two things. It wants to keep inflation under control. It also wants to keep the economy well, jobs markets strong, low unemployment. So they've got a dual mandate: inflation under control, jobs market under control. So how do they check if inflation's under control? Well, they wait for these sorts of releases: CPI, core producer index, personal inflation, I don't know how, I've forgotten what PCI stands for. Anyway, it's inflation. What does CPI stand for? Consumer Price Index. What am I talking about? Consumer Price Index. So this is what actually affects the consumer. We've got PPI, Producer Price Index. That's about producers. So yeah. Good afternoon, Sensei, and everyone. Hope you feel better. Yeah, I do feel better, but you can probably still tell I'm not in the right state because I forgot what CPI means, what it stands for, and also my my throat is not brilliant. But anyway, we're here because of CPI, so I could not miss this day. It's going to be a massive, massive day, CPI. So let's get prepared for it. KC, thank you so much. This is why we need Casey on the channel. She knows exactly. She will never forget what CPI means. Consumer Price Index. Thank you, Casey. Okay, so if you have just tuned in, let's get ready. Everyone hit the like button. Everyone please subscribe if you haven't done so already. We have got the notifications back, so if you do subscribe, it will come up on the screen, or if you do a super chat, it will come up on the screen. So do consider supporting the show. The free way of doing it is hit the like button and subscribe. Let's get into the deep dive. So CPI showdown. Will inflation cool or come roaring back? If anyone is waiting on the sidelines, I see Martyn is in the chat today. I know why Martyn's in the chat today, because he says, oh yeah, thank you, Martyn. You've also said consumer price index. Thank you, Martyn. He says, huge day. If you're waiting on the sidelines, earning interest, you are on standby. And that's what Martyn has literally just said. I knew why he was in here, because today is such a big day. He says, I'm waiting to buy with 300,000 on standby. Good luck, all Lucasades. This might be your chance to buy into the market again. Never give financial advice. This is my thoughts and opinions only. But if you're waiting for a pullback, we might be getting a pullback today. If CPI goes up even a little bit compared to where we expect it to be, or compared to where it was last month, the markets will come crashing down. If it goes up even more, then we can expect that one of those larger crashes to form after this event. So CPI will be released in 46 minutes. Get ready. What trades are you going to do? If CPI is up, are you going to buy? Or are you just going to wait so the crash goes down even more? If it comes in cooler than expected, are you going to FOMO in because the markets are going to rally? What is your decision going to be? Well, hopefully I'm going to give you more information so you can make an informed decision, but I won't be telling you what to do, because that's not our style here. We do not give you financial advice. Okay, so, oh yeah, Martyn says, can't miss this event. No one, yeah. This is probably the most important event of the month. This is actually more important, in my opinion, than the FOMC report. This is more important to cover than the FOMC report, because going into the FOMC report, everyone normally knows what's coming up. Just make sure that's okay. No, everyone normally knows what Jerome Powell is going to say. Everyone normally knows what. I'm just trying to line this up. Yeah, everyone normally knows what Jerome Powell is going to say. Everyone normally knows what the interest rate decision is going to be. No one really knows going into CPI. There's guesses, there's estimates, but CPI, especially when you've had no other data in the whole month. Remember, we haven't got jobs data, we haven't got any PPI, we haven't got any PC, we haven't got any CPI this month because of the US shutdown. They've made an exception to this, so that's how consequential this certain event is going to be. So yeah, there we go. So can't miss the event. That's why Martyn is here on his holiday, and he's waiting to deploy $300,000 in cash. We wait with less, says human being. Too much to text, Sensei should get into it, or too much to text, Sensei should get into it, or you can read the Sensei newsletter and you'll learn everything important you need to know about the stock market. Guy, that was replying to Guy. What did Guy say? I've lost the comments. This is going to be a busy show, so I'm going to focus on the data and what's in front of us. I'll be reading members' comments only. How are you feeling about today, Martyn? Hello, Karen. Hello, Brand. What is the most educated guess today? The most educated guess. We'll get onto it. We'll see. Casey says, good morning. It will continue to go down, says SMY. Okay, let's get into this. I'm actually going to go into, I don't know, should we go into members only mode? I'll let the chat decide. Let's do a poll. Should we go in members only mode so we can answer all members' questions throughout this event? Members only chat. It will only be the chat, so don't worry. General subscribe. Maybe members only chat, question mark. Yes. No. Okay. So this is the deep dive. Remember, from our very own newsletter, the link is pinned. It's also in the live chat as well. US CPI, Friday, the 24th of October, 2025, 8:30 Eastern Time, 1:30 UK time. That's in 43 minutes. We're covering it live. The Bureau of Labor Statistics will release September CPI data despite the ongoing government shutdown. With consensus, commerce, and other datasets frozen, this becomes the solo macro signal driving all positioning before the 28th to 29th FOMC meeting. This is what they have to go off. This is the data they have to go off. Remember, the Fed, whether you think they are political or not, they very much go off data. And you've heard Jerome Powell time and time again say, we are data-driven, data-driven. We'll wait for the data. Well, this is the data. So this is going to impact, and this is the only data we're getting this month. So it's going to very much impact next week's FOMC meeting. That's when the rate cuts will be announced. Very confident in rate cuts in the next meeting next week. So join us for that. Make sure you are subscribed for that. Put your notification bell on. We already have the event set up, so I'll give you the link for that as well. So why does this CPI release really matter? The CPI is the headline inflation gauge published monthly by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, tracking the change in prices paid by consumers for goods and services. It's inflation. How much are consumers, me and you, normal retail folks, paying for goods such as in the shops, insurance, cars, services, also petrol, all the main things we pay for. Is it going up in price? And what percentage is it going up in price? They measure it month on month, year on year. We get the data. The Fed's preferred metric is actually PCE, price. That's the personal consumption expenditures index, but CPI has still remained the way that the market, the piece of data the market actually is interested in the most and reacts to the most. We're not getting PCE. We haven't got any PCA. We haven't got any jobs data. All we have to go off is CPI, which is the second best gauge according to the Fed, but also the best gauge according to most investors. So CPI, the main way to measure inflation. There's also PPI, but that's all about producers and companies rather than consumers. You look at PPI to see what will happen to CPI. The interesting thing was we did see PPI surge up a couple months ago, and that hasn't gone into CPI yet. So there is that slight risk that we can, if the producers aren't going to absorb that cost and they start putting it over to consumers, we might see it this month. In the current environment, it carries extra weight because it is one of the few major macro releases unaffected by the shutdown, giving the Fed and investors the only near-term signal. It's the only thing we have to go off. There is nothing else. We've got private data, which is great to have a look at for jobs, but this is the only official piece of data, inflation-wise, we have to look at. Okay, Martyn, I did say, if you're watching, I sent you a message on Discord. I don't know if you've seen it. Anyway, let's continue. It feeds directly into expectations for the next rate cut decision. Are rate cuts imminent or deferred? So we are looking forward 5 days' time, 5 days, 6 hours, 11 minutes, 21 seconds until the next FOMC rate decision. That's when they come out and say, we're cutting rates by 25 basis points. We're holding rates where they are. We're hiking rates by 25 basis points. We're cutting rates by 50 basis points. That happens in 5 days, 6 hours, 11 minutes, and 3 seconds. But they haven't made their decision yet. They're waiting for the CPI because it's the only data they have. And then half an hour after that, we will get Jerome Powell come on stage. He will give his speech. He will be hawkish or dovish. That will move the markets. Then about 20 minutes after that, we have the Q&A session where the market really reacts to that as well. So that's all happening, and it all starts with what we get today. What is the market expecting? The least amount of volatility will come if every single one of these it comes out as expectations. I would say 50% of the time it comes out as expectations, 50% of the time it doesn't come out as expectations. With expectations, because we've got less data, there might be a bit more off. So if it comes out at these numbers, because we're getting these 4 data points today, we're getting headline CPI, we're getting headline CPI month on month and year on year, we're getting core CPI, takes away energy costs as well, just the core, the things that aren't as volatile. If that comes out, so we've got those 2 big bits of data. The headline CPI, we're going to get it month on month, year on year. We're going to get core CPI month on month, year on year. If they come out exactly as expected, which is 0.4% month on month for headline CPI, 3.1% headline CPI year on year, 0.3% core CPI month on month, 3.1% core CPI year on year. If those numbers come out exactly the same, remember, this is what analysts are saying, this is what the consensus is, this is what the market's priced in. If they come in exactly at these numbers, the market's already priced it in. What will the market do? Well, we'll come on to it, but that's going to be the least volatile option. If that second, when the countdown that we're looking at now hits 0, we get the data and it's exactly as predicted there, the market is going to have the least amount of reaction. It's not going to go euphoric and it's not going to crash all the way down, in my opinion. So that's the least volatile option. But this is the most important numbers. Take a note of these numbers. This is what we expected. Okay, so yeah, that's what these are the numbers. Keep an eye on. If it's above it, there'll be a reaction. If it's below it, there's going to be a reaction. If it's at it, there's not going to be a massive reaction. But yeah, that's what we're going to base everything else we talk from now on the consensus, because that's what the market has already priced in. What time does it come out? Well, if you look at literally just above my head, you can see exactly when it's going to come out. I mean, just there's a countdown right above my head. I don't understand why someone has to ask when is it going to come out. It's literally above my head. Anyway, if you have just tuned in, this is going to be a very, very volatile day. This is something you have to be tuned in for. Please do make sure you hit the like button. Please do make sure you subscribe. If you want all of this information, go check out the newsletter as well. So market scenarios. Remember, we're basing it all off consensus. If risk on, that's one scenario. We go risk on. What does risk on mean? Well, it's a term used in the market, risk on. It means everyone floods to risk. Everyone wants to take on risk. Everyone loves risk. What is risk? The stock market. The S&P 500 is risk on. The crypto market is risk on. The altcoin market is risk on. Risky assets that people go to when they are confident in the market. So this risk on mindset will come if CPI cools. Remember, we're expecting CPI to be at around 0.4%. If it comes in lower at 0.2 or 0.3%, that is massive. That will be euphoria. That will be overvaluation like you've never seen before. It will be inflation cooling faster than expected. That's what it will show. A clean disinflation print that gives the Federal Reserve breathing room. Remember, it's all about the Federal Reserve is looking to get inflation down to 2% year on year. And they don't want to see it there tomorrow. They just want to see a nice path down. And if we see CPI coming down quicker than expected, the Federal Reserve will look at it, because remember, they're going to be voting on it. They'll look at that data and go, wow, inflation's coming down. We don't need to have rates this high. We are making a massive mistake. Why are rates this high? Why are we hurting the consumer by keeping rates higher if inflation's under control? We've done our job. Inflation's under control. Inflation's coming down. We can see it going to 2%. It's lower than we expected. We should really be cutting rates and protecting the jobs market, because don't forget, Jerome Powell pivoted a couple months ago saying in his Jackson Hole speech, which we covered, the jobs market's looking a bit scary. The jobs market is something we need to focus on. How do they focus on the jobs market? By reducing interest rates. So if CPI is down and they're controlling inflation and the jobs market is looking a bit uneasy and it looks like unemployment might be heading up, they're not going to hesitate to cut rates, and they're probably in their speech going to be ultra dovish as well, suggesting more and more rate cuts to come. Remember, we looked at Fed Waller, we covered him last week, a few speeches, and he said the level we need to be at is essentially 4 more rate cuts in a row. He says the restrictive level is about 100 to 125 basis points. That's 4 to 5 more rate cuts, maybe not in a row, but 4 or 5 more rate cuts over the next 6 to 12 months. So that is what we are looking for. And if we do get inflation coming down more than expected, the Federal Reserve has breathing room. It strengthens its case to cut rates. The markets will immediately read this confirmation that the inflation fight is being won. If we see those numbers, 0.2 or 0.3 or 0.1 or 0%, anything like that, the market will look at it and go, brilliant. The Fed's done a good job. Inflation's coming down. There's going to be rate cuts. There's no reason for rates to stay this high. If that happens, the market will pump because they'll go risk on. What else will happen? Yields will slide. The US dollar will come down. It will become weaker. The odds of a 25 basis cut in October will go to 100%. There will be 100%. Probably rate cuts expectations for December. Is it December the next one? I think the next one is in this. The one in December will be about 100%, and probably in January we'll be looking at the rate cut expectations to be closer to maybe 80, 90% if we do get this information. Remember, the market is forward thinking, so they'll look at further rate cuts as well. And then that will be priced into the market. So the rate cut expectations will surge. The S&P 500 will break out, will challenge all-time highs. We'll probably see all-time highs on the S&P 500 within the trading session. Again, this is not financial advice. I can't read ahead, but this is from my experience what I think will happen. If we get numbers like this below expectations, I think we'll hit all-time highs on the S&P 500 today. If you look at the chart, we're not that far away. I mean, have we just hit all-time highs? Maybe we've already hit all-time highs. So let me have a look. Wow, the market is pumping into this. They might be pumping it to dump it, or someone might have some early information. The S&P 500, yeah, it will hit all-time highs. It will blast through all-time highs if we do get that. It's already rising into this. So, what was the result of the poll? Members only chat, yes, 32%, 68%. We will go into members only here and there. So what I'm going to do is, while we're building up, I'll go into members only for a bit, but subscribers can always watch or become a member, and then we'll come back to general subscribers. So let me just change this into members chat. If you want to become a member, we'll go back to subscribers in a second, but please do consider becoming a part of the family. There is the membership link in the live chat. Stay with us. 31 minutes until US CPI, the biggest, most consequential event in the market this month. It's actually bigger than the FOMC. So there we go. If rates are, just to remind everyone who's just come in, we're looking at the risk-on approach. We're looking at what is expected. If CPI is cooler than expected, these are the effects. S&P 500 breaks through all-time highs. The Federal Reserve will cut rates. Expectations will go up. What will happen with crypto? Well, liquidity-sensitive assets rip higher. Crypto rebounds sharply. This is our altcoins. This is XRP. They will rebound sharply as the rate cut momentum feeds into risk reflation loop. Bitcoin extends into an uptrend. Altcoins enter what would become a parabolic mini bull run phase, mirroring early cycle liquidity surges. We remember what happened in November, December last year. That was great. We could see something similar. We could have that final bull market, that final altcoin season. We'll have growth and tech stocks outperforming, Nvidia reaching crazy valuations, Apple continuing its all-time highs, the S&P 500 going to all-time highs, Nasdaq really pushing higher. We'll see the Russell with the worst stocks, with the Russell 2000 with the not full of amazing stocks, but that will start pumping as well. That's sort of like the altcoins of the stock market. That will start pumping as well. AI, semiconductors, fintech, all of that will outperform. Home builders, discretionary, and small cap recover as small capital rotates out of defensives. So that will happen as well. Just going, if anyone has a member question, do post it now so I can come to it, and then we can go back to subscriber mode. If you haven't become a member yet, do consider becoming a member as well. Fed doves like Waller and Daly can credibly argue that inflation is contained, cementing the soft landing story and encouraging investors to lean back into duration and beta exposure. Yeah, that's the main thing. Remember, this was all about the Fed. When the Fed sees this data and it's lower than expected, they will say inflation is contained, inflation's on the way to 2%. We're actually on a soft landing approach. There will be no recession. We're doing well, but we need to cut rates. In short, a cool CPI print will supercharge the Q4 melt-up narrative. Remember, Q4 is actually historically a bullish month, especially in a bull market where the previous quarters have been good. Q4 is normally good as well going into the holidays. So CPI, Q4 CPI would mean Q4 would be very, very bullish. Also, if we look at the earnings so far, about 85% of the S&P 500 companies that have already reported. Most of them haven't. 85% of them have beat on earnings. So the earnings is there as well. We are overvalued. The market is in a euphoric cycle. It will come crashing down, in my opinion, at some point. But if we do get a cooler CPI, the euphoria can continue. So potentially flipping markets into a euphoric risk cycle where liquidity, momentum, and sentiment all align for a blow-off leg higher. Yeah, this could lead us into that blow-off top. Now let's talk about the boring one. If CPI meets expectations, if we see CPI at 0.4%, or both of them being around consensus, what does that mean? Well, it's neutral. Let me just quickly go to all the members' questions and then we'll go back to subscriber mode. Silver seems to be consolidating. Yeah, silver gold, absolute massive maves down in the last few days. Again, last time gold and silver went on that big run up a few months ago, everyone started calling for a crash. But then it continued going up, and then when it went all the way up, it had a big correction down, a 10%, maybe not as much as this time, but maybe a 10% correction from peak to trough, and then it consolidated and then went for its next move up. So in my opinion, that's sort of what we're going for. If it goes lower, then we might just find some support and continue higher, but I think it would just be one of these big moves down, a move back up, consolidation until its next move up. So I'm still bullish on silver and gold. Thank you, Yasin, for bringing that to our attention. I agree with you, consolidating. Or it hasn't started consolidating yet, but this, I think, is the beginning of a consolidation because it's just gone down so far, but I think it will go back up, horizontally consolidate. Casey says, crypto spot trading will be down for maintenance tomorrow for up to 4 hours. Terrible timing if market pumps. Coinbase spot. Oh, wow. Yeah, thank you, Casey, for bringing that to our attention. That would be very frustrating. I wonder if limit orders and stuff work during that time. David Hensley says, if you guys want to see Jerome Powell's trip as he's walking on stage, then smash that like button to show your support. Thank you, David Hensley. Yes, please do hit the like button if you have just tuned in. Neutral is the most likely outcome. Neutral is, in my opinion, again, who knows what the most likely outcome is. In my opinion, for everything to be neutral, I think is actually the less likely outcome. But for most things to be neutral, I think is probably 50% chance. It's quite a likely outcome that it is neutral. But if it isn't, that's when we need to jump in and buy if it's crashing, or consider selling if it's going up. Again, not financial advice, but that's why we're watching this event. Henrik goes, and again, no one knows this. Hedge funds all around the world are going to be watching this event. Henrik says, good afternoon. Yes, and says, just my trend lines, just using my trend lines looking strong. Yes, I think silver's looking good. I do want to see it hold on to $50 though soon. 900 watching, only 100 plus likes. What's going on, Zach? Thank you very much for letting us know. Hit the like button, guys. What's going on? Sensei, I really like your article in the newsletter about Coinbase and Ripple. Your newsletters are so amazing, man. Mind blown. Thank you so much, David Hensley. Your support is incredible. If you want to know what that article is on Coinbase and Ripple, go check it out in the newsletter. Kraken is down on the 1st of November, so you can still trade there tomorrow. Thank you. Okay. M2 upwards, rate cuts coming, government will reopen, allowing liquidity flowing. Okay, so all will be okay. M2 upwards, money supply. Is M2 going up? Let's have a quick look. This is how much money is in the system. M2. Oh. M2. Don't know what's going on. Why can't I see M2? What is going on? What do I have to type in? M2 money supply. Yeah, M2 is back on its way up, so there's more money in the system. If you look at this, money supply is going up, which is good. What else do we have while this is going on? You've mentioned rate cuts coming. Yes, rate cuts are coming. Government will reopen. Yeah, when the government does reopen, which I think it will in the next. I mean, if it doesn't next week, then the market might start reacting to that. But I think it will next week or the week after. A week after that, crypto ETFs will get approved, and then that will be more money coming in. But really, if CPI doesn't go well, you can't really be looking forward to any of that. Longs and shorts are definitely going to be liquidated today. Yeah, both sides will be liquidated. Remember, the market punishes both sides. The market punishes both sides. It's not just, even if you crash, everyone will start shorting, and then the market will pump up, and then all the shorts will get liquidated, and then everyone starts FOMOing in with a long, and then the market continues down. I mean, the market punishes both sides. Like and subscribe to Zach Say It. Thank you very much. Hey, Sam, thank you so much for your insights. I appreciate it. Where do you think the price of XRP and Flare could go, depending on the news on our and our current trends? It's very hard to say exactly. I mean, there's many possibilities. The main thing to take into consideration is if it's really above, if CPI is 0.1, the markets will rally a little bit. If it's 0.2% or more under what we expect it to be, I think XRP could rally 15, 20% in a day. Flare could probably do the same. If it's worse than expected, then it could do the same the opposite way. It can crash 15, 20%. But just have a plan for each way. This is not about predicting what's going to happen right now. This is about having a plan. Remember, other channels will try and make predictions. They'll lose. They'll get you to start leverage trading using their links so that they can make money whether you lose or win. I don't want you to lose. I really don't want you to lose. Other channels don't care if you lose. I care if you lose because we care about our audience. The point about this show is not to say, okay, buy in because we're going to pump or sell out because we're about to crash. It's about today's going to be a volatile day. If it's not consensus, are you prepared for a massive pump? Are you prepared for a massive crash? Because that's possible today. Secondly, here's the data in front of you. This is what you need to look out for to see if the markets will crash or not, or how much they're going to crash, or what you should be prepared for. And thirdly, it's, are you going to buy? What's your plan if it goes down? And what's your plan if it goes up? So yeah, this is not me coming here to predict what's going to happen in 22 minutes. It's about getting you prepared for what's about to happen in 22 minutes. Anyone who pretends they know exactly what's going to happen, they're lying to you. No one knows. Hey son, so I hope that helps. Have a Guinness, Sensei. No worries. C. Martyn says crypto companies are getting more and more association with the Trump administration. I think it's good. Couple weeks again. Thank you for your newsletters and time doing these lives. Thank you so much, C. Martyn, for being a subscriber in the newsletter and spending your time here. Could be on any other channel. Well, they're probably just spewing BS, aren't they? Yeston says, yes, David, it's good. What's the best way to trade the news in your opinion? I wouldn't trade news. It's just a bad idea. I mean, look, the only way I trade this, and again, it's not financial advice, is what I've done previously. If it's a massive, massive beat, I don't mean beat, if CPI is 0.2 or lower compared to CPI, so if this is the only way I would do it, but it's not advice, and it's probably no one should really do what I do. The only way I do it is if you look at what's expected. If headline CPI is expected to be 0.4% and it comes in at 0.2, I've gone through all the members' questions, so I'll go back to let me go back to general public so everyone can comment. We'll go to subscribers. There we go. Oh. Okay, yeah. So the only way I've traded data previously, I mean, 4 years ago, I would trade data in COVID and probably lose most of the time. But the only way I've been profitable with doing it, and the only way I would do it, is very rare. Maybe 2 out of 10 times you have an opportunity to do this. Today might be an opportunity again, not advice. Don't follow what I've done previously. Headline CPI is expected to be 0.4. We know that if headline CPI comes in at 0.2%, and all of these are a little bit lower than expected as well, and the general trend is massively under what CPI was expected, and inflation is really cooling, then the market's probably going to pump. So you've got a very small window of opportunity to put in quite a large leverage position to go long on the market. As soon as he makes for example, if you go 10x leverage, market pumps 5%, you've made 50%, you close that position straight away, knowing that you could lose all your money if something else comes out at the same time. Or the opposite, if headline inflation comes in at 0.6%, a few bases or significantly above this, then what will happen is the market will probably go into a crash or maybe even a bear market. So if you see that happen, then what I've done previously is gone short and the market's crashed 10%. If you're looking at crypto, or the stock market's crashed 3-4%, and then you can take your profits. So that's the only way I'll trade this data, if it's significantly out of the realm of consensus and going in straight away with either a long or short. That's the only way I'll do it. But yeah, again, that's not a recommendation. That's risky. Whatever you're putting in, be prepared to lose it. But yeah, that's the way I would do it. Anything else going into the trade, you don't know. Putting in a trade right now, it's gambling. you don't know. At least after the data comes out, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds after, you will know what the information is. So at least you're trading on data, not without data. If you're trading it now and putting a long position or short position, good luck to you. I'm not trying to get you to not do that. That's not my job. What I'm going to say to you is you're basically gambling because you don't know what's going to happen. No one does. Anyway, we covered risk on. So if CPI cools 0.2, 0.3%, markets rally quite strongly, all-time highs, blow off top because the market is already very overvalued. So we are probably going to go into a euphoric run and then crash. But in the short term, euphoric run. Probably the most, what everyone is expecting and probably quite likely to happen, or at least maybe just under 50% chance of happening, is everything just meets expectations. CPI is as expected. Market's already priced it in. Inflation lands exactly where the market expected it. Steady, but not cooling. The number validates the Fed's cautious optimism without confirming a full disinflation trend. It's still above the 2% target, keeping higher for longer narrative alive, even as growth data shows mild softening. The Fed likely delivers a 25 basis cut. It still does rate cut, even if we get consensus, in my opinion, and analysts' opinions, we will still get that 25 basis cut. But it's not all about that 25 basis cut. The market looks forward. What's going to happen in December? What's going to happen in January? Well, if we get at consensus, then the market's not going to react until we get the next CPI next month. So yeah, we'll still get 25 basis point cut, in my opinion. But then you also have to look at what happens next week with the FOMC. What's Jerome Powell's tone going to be? What's he going to say at the conference? That's gonna matter. And what do I mean by that? If CPI cools, Jerome Powell will come out and say, inflation's under control, we can cut rates, this is looking great, we'll look at the jobs market. If CPI is exactly as expected, he'll probably just be, oh, this is great, this is fine, we're going to cut rates, but we're going to be data dependent, and the data we're waiting, inflation. He's not going to be very exciting, this tone. If CPI is as expected, he's not going to mention it too much. If CPI is cooler than expected, then he might be a bit more dovish with his tone on next week's speech. Even if we get consensus, the Fed will go ahead with their 25 basis point cut, but it will frame it as risk management, not as a dovish pivot, a move to maintain stability rather than ignite a new easing cycle. Powell will emphasize that inflation remains elevated but trending in the right direction. What will the market reaction be? Well, here's a guess. Treasury yields will stay broadly stable as traders digest that the rate path isn't accelerating downwards. Equities may be in tight consolidation phases, tight ranges, and it will be very much waiting until FOMC next week with the Powell press conference and the Q&A. So markets will wait until next week because that'll be the next direction we get given. If we get consensus, there won't be much direction. Crypto and speculative assets will stall. Neither will break out nor break out, reflecting the macro stalemate. This is the wait-and-see environment. Investors will stay fully invested, but cautious, trimming leverage and tightening risk exposure. Expect sector rotation rather than broad rally. Money moves into quality cash, flow to the rich names. The Russell might not do well. The altcoins might not do well. If there was money flowing into something, it will be into the safer stocks, maybe a little bit defensive, maybe a little bit of the major caps, the Mag 7, etc. As traders will start hedging for both outcomes. In essence, this scenario keeps the market in equilibrium. Risk off isn't off the table, but euphoria is capped until inflation meaningfully cools. It will all depend on FOMC. Here is the other side to the coin. We've covered the risk. We've covered the risk on. CPI cools. Markets go euphoric. Here's the other side. Risk off. Just as likely, we could get inflation higher than expected. Remember, countdown's up above. 15 minutes time. We're live. This is going to come out now in 15 minutes. So this is one of our last options. We looked at CPI being lower than expected. Let's look at it being higher than expected. Remember, the only data release we're getting this month, very, very influential, very, very consequential. Is that a word? Yeah, I think so. Very, very consequential because we have got no other data. This is the only thing Jerome Powell and the Fed will have to go off. We are in a shutdown. That's why we're not getting other data. They've made an exception for CPI. It's going to be very important either way it goes. And one of the ways is risk off. Remember, consensus is up here. This is what we're expecting. That's what the market's priced in. If it's above this, if it's slightly above it, then it won't be as dramatic. But if it's a little bit more. If it's 0.6 and 3.3 and 0.5 and 3.3, that's pretty dramatic. That's pretty significant. And if that comes in, then the market will crash more. If it's lower, then the market will crash less. But anyway, we'll go into a risk-off mode. What's risk-off? Well, people get out of anything risky. What's risky? The stock market's mainly risky. The S&P 500 risky. The crypto market's risky. Bitcoin's risky. They'll come out of that, and they'll go into treasury bills. They'll go into potentially defensive. Might go to flock to gold potentially, but again, gold likes rate cuts, so gold will probably crash initially as well. They'll take their money off the table for risky assets. We know what risky assets are. The S&P 500 is a risky asset. So what would that mean? That is crisis mode. It shows that inflation is re-accelerating. And how do you control, and why is this all important? Well, if inflation's re-accelerating or inflation's high, the only way to control it is with high interest rates. So essentially, you're not going to get interest rate cuts, or the rate of cuts will be lower. That's why this is all important. Anyway, inflation will re-accelerate, snapping the disinflation narrative and reigniting fears that the Fed easing cycle came too soon. The Fed started cutting too soon. That might be the narrative. Again, no one really believes that, but if inflation goes up, then there's a real crisis, because not only will people say that the Fed shouldn't cut rates, inflation is reaccelerating, this is going to be a terrible, this is going to be awful for the markets. The other issue is, well, that means they have to keep interest rates where they are or not cut interest rates. But hang on a second, didn't Jerome Powell say a month ago that the jobs market is looking a bit uneasy and they don't want to cut rates to make sure we don't go up in unemployment? That's the big issue. That's the big issue. So that's what the markets will look at and go, okay, we're in a big issue. Inflation's reaccelerating. The jobs market's looking bad. What's going to happen? Recession. So the outcome reawakens higher for longer expectations, forcing traders to question the pace or even continuation of future rate cuts. If you have just tuned in, we're covering US CPI in 12 minutes time. Please do hit the like button. Please do subscribe. Please do check out the newsletter. This comes out every single day to your inbox. It's very, very easy read. You can just look at the first sort of 5 lines of it and you know exactly what's going on in the markets. We summarize the exact, so if I show you the newsletter, comes out every day. You need to know what's going on every single day in the markets if you're a real investor. You get the top stories at a glance. Exactly what's going on in the markets. Trump pardoning CZ, Coinbase CEO, Ripple, Coinbase funding this, that, UK retail resilience, CPI, you get the one big thing, the market snapshot, all those top stories you can have a look at within the newsletter, whichever ones you want to dive deeper into. Then you get you can go to each of those stories. Then you get the deep dive. Today we're going through CPI. You'll have all of these numbers in front of you. You've got the key data, what time it's coming out, what other data stories are coming out. You get the charts of the day as well. Today is on end phase energy. So yeah, do consider checking out the newsletter. There is a free plan. There is a monthly plan. Monthly plan will be going up in price shortly. But no, for no one who's already subscribed, it will be going up. Annual plan gives you a free chart, and the free plan gives you access to that, at least the top. The top of the newsletter, which gives you the snapshot. So let me give you that link once again if no one's got it. That's in the chat. It's also the first link in the description. So quick recap. Risk on. If CPI cools, market goes euphoric. Neutral, market doesn't really do much. Coming on to risk off, the markets will reposition hard. So short-term yields will spike as rate cut bets unwind. The US dollar will strengthen, and tightening global financial conditions. People will flock to the dollar. Equities, small caps, crypto will face heavy selling pressure as leverage comes out the system. Remember, we are very much overvalued, especially on the stock market. Very overvalued. S&P 500 is way above where it should be. It's expecting a crash, and it's waiting for any excuse to have a crash. We've seen that because we got that 100% tariff news, the markets crashed. The crypto market fell 80%, 50%. The stock market fell in 5% in a day. Then we got some other information the market didn't like. It was something what was the other information we got last week? It was very small bits of it. Oh, it was the banking crisis. Everyone started calling for a banking crisis. The regional banks, they had a tiny fraud case, 50 million, and the whole market reacted to that. Why? Well, because everyone is scared. A little thing in the market, such as banking fears or tariffs, anything, the market's waiting to sell off, and then they buy back in because they go, actually, wait, nothing actually happened. They sell first and then ask the questions later. So any news that comes out which could be bearish, the market right now, and you can see that it's overvalued. Why? Because any news that's slightly negative, the market sells off straight away. Then they digest the news, and then they buy back in. So that shows the market's overvalued, meaning if CPI comes out badly, the market will sell off straight away. They might reevaluate and go, do we sell off too much? Should we buy back in? But it is long-term bearish as well if CPI goes up. So the market will certainly come down if CPI is higher than expected, in my opinion. So dollar strengthens, equity unwinds, a lot of leverage in the system. We can come crashing down. Risk models flip defensive. Funds will go into cash, stables, stable coins if you're in crypto, staples if you're on the stock market. Short duration treasury, so they can earn some interest until they figure out what the market's doing. And yeah, cyclicals and growth names, AI, crypto will take a big hit. In the Fed context, because remember, it's all about the Fed. This data is that's why everyone's looking for it. It's because this is what it all comes down to the Fed. So when you look at it in the Fed's context, Powell and core governors will likely pivot back to vigilant language, warning that a progress on inflation has been stalled. If we get that, which if inflation goes up, that is true, and if we get Powell saying a progress on inflation is stalled, that is the worst thing we can hear next week. They might go ahead with a 25 basis point cut. If it's a small over, they might not. And if they don't, then that's even worse. So the market can go down and we still get a rate cut next week. So yeah, a rate cut doesn't automatically mean the market goes up. If we get CPI go up and we still get a rate cut, that's not a good thing. It just means we probably won't get another rate cut for a while. So even if they maintain a 25 basis point rate cut, it will be viewed as insurance, not the start of a dovish cycle. Markets will interpret this as hawkish in disguise. For retail investors, this is a risk unwind setup. That kind of the kind that sharpens volatility and tests conviction. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and altcoins would likely correct, mirroring prior tightening shocks, while the S&P 500 could retrace towards prior support as liquidity expectations reset. This scenario doesn't necessarily end the bull run, but it could reset it, turning Q4 from an expansion rally into a defensive consolidation phase. We might go into a massive correction, depending on how much CPI is up, or we might just go into a bear market for Q4. So the shutdown dynamics, we know there's a shutdown right now. This is the only piece of data we're getting. That's why it's so important. It's coming out in 6 minutes time. We're getting very close to it, getting nervous. What's going to happen? S&P 500 is rallying into it. Is it pumping to sell it off? Or do some people know the news beforehand? We will find out shortly. This is going to be quite consequential. So let's see what will happen here. Let's go back here. We've got Bloomberg ready to go.
They've basically managed to cover up differences on the committee at the moment by calling these risk management cuts. Now, they're risk management cuts that come with their own risks.
Yeah, we've got Bloomberg on standby. So this all relates to next week, the FOMC meeting next week. This is what it's all about. I'm going to give everyone the link to that because that is what's coming next. We have already set up our event. Remember, we're live. You can subscribe, ring that notification bell. Let me give everyone the link to next week's FOMC meeting because that's when we actually see if they get a rate cut or not, even though this event is probably a little bit more important than next week's FOMC decision, in my opinion. Depending on actually what we get. If we get neutral, then it's very important. That's what the market will wait for. If we don't get neutral, then the damage is done or the pump is done. So here we go. Here is the link to FOMC. So let me just actually go FOMC. If you click on that link, the reason I'm giving it to you is if you click on that link and press it, what you can do is if you're on that link, you can press notify me. It's in 5 days' time. It will give it to you in your local time zone. Press this button here. It will notify you for the FOMC meeting because we'll be going live with that. When this show does end at the end, it will automatically take you there. So just press notify me there as well. Just to let you know, that is next week FOMC meeting. Data's coming out in 4 minutes. Oof, what's going to happen? I'll give you a recap just before the data comes out as well about all the options if you have just tuned in. But if you have just tuned in, hit the like button, subscribe. This is about to happen. We've given you the full analysis. I'll give you a rundown in a second. I'll give you a chance to win $2,000 worth of XRP as well. Federal Reserve, if you do want a chance to win $2,000, we haven't explained it in a while. So just everyone hit yes, write yes in the chat, spam yes in the chat if you want a chance to win $2,000 of XRP live on the show. So if everyone hits yes, then I'll tell you all about it. So I'll wait for everyone to do that. So yeah, FOMC meeting next week. Market's pricing another 25 basis point cut. That's what the pricing in is now. That's what we're expecting. Governor Waller, we've been covering him all week. He says that the labour market is softening. We need to be careful of the labour market, so we need to cut rates and inflation's coming down. Well, we're getting the inflation data today. Oh, everyone's saying yes. Everyone wants it. Okay. Yeah, keep spamming yes and I'll tell you. So the market playbook. This is the recap. Get ready. If CPI is soft, we expect a 25 basis point rate cut. We expect Powell to be balanced. We expect Powell to be balanced. We expect to go onto a full risk on mode. That's soft landing momentum, Q4 rally extending, AI, crypto leading, going full euphoria until the bubble bursts and we pop. But we do, if CPI comes in softer, expect a market rally. Two options. Again, there's another one where CPI is exactly where it is, and then that option is we wait until the FOMC meeting to get the market won't really do much. If CPI is exactly as expected, the market won't do much. It might pump, it might dump, but essentially it will consolidate until we get the next big piece of data, which is the FOMC meeting next week. The other two options that could be volatile for today is if CPI is higher than expected. If everyone wants the $2,000 in XRP, please do keep spamming yes, and I'll give you that link. So yeah, the two other options. If CPI is hot and there's we could still get a 25 basis point rate cut. That's not off the tables. However, the market could still come down even with a rate cut. The cut will be seen as insurance. The reaction will people will still potentially go risk off. The volatility will spike up, but we'll probably for today, if CPI is hot, we will come down. If CPI is very hot and we get no rate cut, this is for the FOMC, we'll go full risk off mode, USD surges, Bitcoin, Ethereum crash, equities slide. So this is the most consequential CPI print of 2025, not just because of its number, but because it will be the only data point the Fed can lean on during a shutdown. It's the only thing. This is so important. 1 minute and 40 seconds to go. It will determine whether October's FOMC turns into a confirmation rally or a credibility test. If CPI comes in soft, expect a year-end melt up as markets price sustain easing. If CPI is hot, brace for a hawkish Powell and defense rotation to bonds, USD, and staples. Either way, the path to Q4's utility begins in 1 minute and 20 seconds. Every trader on Wall Street will be watching this. Quick recap is... These are the numbers we're expecting. Headline 0.4, headline year-on-year 3.1, core 0.3 month-on-month, core CPI 3.1% year-on-year. If it's lower than these numbers, the market will pump. If it's higher than these numbers, the market will crash. If it's at these numbers, the market will consolidate until FOMC. If it's very, very much below these numbers, if it's 0.2, 2.9, 0.1, the markets will absolutely skyrocket. And then probably get overvalued and crash at some point in the future. If CPI is 0.5, 0.6, or 0.6, 3.3, 0.5, 3.3, the markets will crash because inflation is ticking up. And then the soft landing approach goes away. People start talking about recession. Powell will probably be hawkish in his meeting. So what I'm going to do is make sure this is there's a way to speed up to get even more live. So I'm going to do that on Bloomberg, getting ready from Bloomberg to give us the information. I'm going to give everyone the link to win $2,000 worth of XRP. I'll do it right after we get the news. So stay tuned. We're going to give you the analysis. Going to go to Bloomberg. We're going to get the information. The economic calendar is down currently, so I don't know if that's been... Oh, it's up and running again, so I'll give you the information here as well. It's 1 minute away. So right after we get all the data, 5 minutes after we get CPI, which is in about 1 minute's time, let me take this off the screen now, we will do the analysis and I'll give you the link to win $2,000 worth of XRP live on the show. Remember, we're not like other channels. Everything's real. Everything's legit. Bloomberg will be going live in, so we're at 1:29, so we've got 30 seconds. We're also going to be looking here. Here will give us information first. What it's going to be is here is consensus 0.4, 3.1, 0.3, and 3.1. If these are lower, If these are lower, the markets will pump. If these are higher, the market will crash. So we might actually get the information here first. But let's go over to Bloomberg because we're about 20 seconds away from getting this information. Hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. It takes 1 second. Here we go. Over to Bloomberg. Good luck, everyone. Smash the like, subscribe.
This is it, seconds away. CPI data in America. Your scores heading into that data look like this. F100 up by 1/3 on the S&P, on the Nasdaq 100 up by 0.5, heading towards a second consecutive week of gains in the bond market. 2-year, 10-year, 30-year bond yields higher in the last 24 hours. Up again this morning, 10s at 4, 30s
Waiting for
at
this.
4.59. For your economic data for inflation in America, here's Mike McKee. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, John. We have a little bit of good news.
Lower than expected. Lower than expected.
0.3 on the month. The forecast was for 0.4, and core comes in up just 0.2%. Forecast.
It's
was
up.
for
We're lower than
0.3.
expected.
We're still at 3%, though. Instead of 3.1%, as was forecast for both numbers, we get a 3% handle for both headline and core in terms of where we are for the total month here. We're going to have to check out the overall numbers here, but let me give you a few before.
Everything down 0.1. It's not amazing, but it's great.
And this has been something that people have been worried about. Only up 0.2 after being up 0.5 in the month of August. Energy prices in terms of gasoline up 4.1%. That added to inflation definitely. It was only up 1.9% the month before. And here's something good. Car prices, new vehicle prices up just 0.2%. We thought we might see a jump because of the new models coming in. Used car prices are down 0.4 on the month. Apparel, though, a big rise, 0.7 during the month after 0.5 the months before. Services were up 0.2% during the month, and goods up 0.2%. So inflation restrained, Fed is a go.
Mike, that is what we call the right
S&P 500 up 0.75%.
And on core. Headline inflation comes in at 0.3. The estimate in our survey is
XRP up 4%.
Core CPI month over month comes in at 0.2. The estimate in our survey 0.3. I'll go the back of that, push it through the bond market. 2-year, 10-year, 30-year bond yields.
Stay with me for analysis.
At the front end of the curve, we're down.
I'm going to give you a full analysis after we listen to Bloomberg for a bit because this is great, but it's not amazing. I'll explain exactly what I expect for the future as well. So stay with me. I'll give you the link to the $2,000 of XRP we're going to be giving away live on the show as well. So stay with us. Let me just continue with Bloomberg.
Some big outperformance on small caps. Bramo up by 1.6%.
That was exactly where I went to, this idea of how much this is going to help some of the smaller and mid-sized companies that really have been more significantly affected by higher rates. This is a clear signal to the Fed that they can go for 25 basis points. My question is, how long before we start to see some analysts saying this means they can go 50 or something of that nature? Not clear that that's exactly what's being priced in, but definitely a sigh of relief.
And Mike, I'm sure you've got another take on the data, but I've got another question on the Federal Reserve. And if we can,
they need to look into the data a bit more. Stay with us.
This data this morning wasn't going to change whether the Fed will or won't go next Wednesday. Does it give them a little bit more space to guide beyond October when the chairman sits in that news conference and addresses you directly?
I don't think it really does, in the sense that we are flying blind right now in the month of October, and when they get to December, they may not have any October data, and who knows whether they'll have November data. So at that point, they're really not going to be sure of where we are with inflation, and they're certainly maybe not going to know within a reasonable guess of what happens with labor market. So I think you have to assume that December is going to be up in the air until at least we know.
Markets are holding it, to be fair, so that's good.
Coming back in again. Things we want to
Bitcoin sliding a little bit
in terms of prices. Rent of shelter. We're talking about here the
stay with me. Analysis in 5 minutes.
Numbers that play into services. Up by just 1.4%. No, I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong one. By just 0.2, which is good news because shelter has been coming down. Owner's equivalent rent up just 0.1. I don't have the comparison, but that is the lowest in many, many, many months. And remember how last year we were always worried about when would housing come down. So as I mentioned, we're also seeing gasoline prices were up a lot. Food prices up 0.2. Food At home, up 0.3. So still a little bit of inflation at the grocery store. Motor vehicle insurance down 0.4. That was one that was rising big. So it looks like we've seen a kind of a rollover in inflation. Airline fares up just 2.7%.
S&P 500 all-time highs.
In the month of August. So inflation has rolled over, at least in the month of September.
XRP is selling off slightly.
For those who want a Fed rate cut.
Mike, I feel like we're out of...
Stay with me. I'll give you the analysis in 5 minutes, and you've got the link up there. I'll give it to you in 4 minutes.
Leg lower at the front end of the curve. We're down by 5. Another leg higher in the equity market. You can see that across the board there on the S&P, on the Nasdaq, on the Russell. We turn briefly to foreign exchange as well. Just a little hint of dollar weakness and some euro strength. Data out of Europe was pretty good as well this morning. Eurozone PMIs, one of the best reads we've seen going back to 2024. Look out for the US PMIs a little bit later on this morning. If you are just joining us, a downside surprise on headline and core CPI, unlocking some lower bond yields this morning, going into that Federal Reserve decision next Wednesday. Joining us now to discuss is Tiffany Wilding of PIMCO. Tiffany, welcome to the program. Is this a source of comfort for this Federal Reserve next week?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think certainly it's good news on the inflationary pressures, but the argument that we've been making, which I think is symptomatic of this report, is that the economic adjustment that we're seeing to tariffs is coming through less on a price adjustment, and instead companies are finding ways to defend margins by offsetting other costs. And I think the fact that you saw another headline this morning around a large retailer, that is doing
analysis
some
shortly
at the kind of higher executive levels, that's just in our minds symptomatic of that they are finding these other ways to cut costs. So what that means for the Federal Reserve is that there is some downside risk to the labor market here. So I don't know that they should be completely taking a sigh of relief here. We need to see the labor market data obviously when the government reopens. But as you and Mike mentioned, we do think they cut in October. And of course the median expectation from the Fed is that they'll cut again in December.
How much of a forward look can they give us at the October meeting, Tiffany? When Chairman Powell goes into the news conference, he doesn't have much visibility on anything right now. How much guidance can he offer us for December and beyond?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's incredibly tricky, and I'm not sure that they will offer a lot of guidance. I think they're going to say that we don't have a lot of data to go on here. There's private sources of data, but even there, it appears that some of the Fed's, the
very important analysis coming out
in the labor market, maybe they're not getting anymore. So it is a much more tricky situation for the Fed. They're going to be looking at markets and and I think the news flow in order to kind of figure out what's going on here. And I think it's going to be really tough for him in terms of guiding any further.
Tiffany, a lot of people have been looking at the housing market in particular as a sign of disinflation going forward. And one thing that Mike pointed to was owner's equivalent rent. Looking at this, it just looks like inflation in owner's equivalent rent has fallen to the lowest pace going back to 2021 with a pretty big decline, which is one thing that's giving fuel to some of the enthusiasm in bond markets this morning. I'm just wondering how big of a tell that is for you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that the normalization in housing and rents is something that the economics community has expected for some time, and I would argue that it's delayed, and it was delayed because we saw a really big immigration boom over the last couple of years. Now, obviously, that the immigration policy has taken a big U-turn, you're not seeing those tailwinds of additional
1 minute an analysis and the $2,000 of XRP,
and as a result of that, you're seeing rents cool off quite a bit. So I don't think it's that surprising, but I do think it's one of the things that should give the Federal Reserve comfort, that they that inflationary pressures outside of some tariff-related pass-through are pretty benign at this point.
Given the fact that we're seeing no inflationary pressures to note that really are even beyond what people expected, and you are getting these announcements, you were talking about the Target announcements without naming them, laying off about 1,000 people and removing 800 jobs from their listings. We also saw GM announcing a round of job cuts this morning. I'm just wondering how much these are just anecdotes and typical versus something that really is a softening that is behind the disinflation as well as the concerns that the Fed has about the labor market.
Yeah, I mean, again, we think it's very symptomatic of how we see the economy that's ultimately adjusting to tariffs. I think the really big surprise
Okay, we'll
this
let her
year
finish
coming
and then I'll come on
coming into
to
the
it.
year and thinking about tariffs is that you'd get some price level adjustment. And there's multiple ways that companies can adjust to this. And I think what we're learning is that they're not fully adjusting prices, and that they're trying to.
Okay, that's enough of that. So we got the inflation report. If you have just tuned in, let me tell you what's just happened. The markets are up. S&P 500 now up to all-time highs as expected. Remember, I said it will go straight to all-time highs if it goes higher. That is a 0.6% up on the S&P 500. The XRP is up 3.6%. Ethereum's up 3%. Bitcoin's up 1%. Some of these are selling off now. This isn't news to. This isn't the best news in the world in terms of it's great news, but it's not euphoric news. It wasn't down a lot, but let me tell you, this is quite good. I mean, if we got anything like consensus or CPI going up, we would have had a market crash on our hands. If CPI was at 0.5%, 0.6%, the market would be down in turmoil right now. So this is a great outcome for anyone invested in the market. So let me tell you what the news is if you have just tuned in. I'll give you the link to $2,000 worth of XRP because we're giving that away live on the show as well. Unlike other channels, we actually do what we say. Other people just pretend they have giveaways. We've got a past record of doing it live on the show. So quick synopsis of what's happened. Today, we started with our newsletter. We told you what to expect. We told you that these are the expectations: 0.4, 3.1, 0.3, 3.1. We said there will be risk on if inflation cools, but it will be depending on how much it cools by and how much below consensus it was. We told you if it's neutral, don't expect anything until FOMC next week for the market to move. If it's risk on, the markets will crash. What did we actually get? Well, just a few minutes ago, or just 10 minutes ago, we got the data. The data was the only piece of data from the government we're getting this month because of the shutdown. They made a special exception for CPI, and we got the data. This is what the Fed will go off in their next meeting. What was that data? Well, consensus was 0.4 for CPI month on month. We got 0.3. Inflation cooled, risk on. And then we had 3.1% consensus. Remember, consensus is what the analysts expect, and that means what's priced in the market. So 3.1 was priced in on year. We got 3%. Then we had 0.3% priced in for CPI, excluding food and energy. That was priced in, that was 0.3. What we got was 0.2. Then we got 3.1% year-on-year priced in, and we got 3%. So every single one of those data points that we were expecting was lower than expected. Lower than expected is good because it means CPI isn't rising as much, which means that the Fed can cut rates without worrying about inflation. The path coming down is good. And not only that, it was actually below what the market was expecting. So that's why we got the rally. However, if instead of 0.3 we've got 0.2, it would be a completely different story. It would be the markets are really accelerating to the downside. We need to cut rates. We might even have a 50 basis point rate cut. We will not have a 50 basis point rate cut on FOMC meeting next week. I repeat, we will not have a 50 basis point rate cut. I repeat, we will have a 25 basis point rate cut next week. We will definitely have 25 basis point rate cut. So that's all priced in. The market's not going to rally because of that. But the FOMC meeting will be live on this show, so make sure it takes literally 1 second. Subscribe. 1 second. It's free. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. We'll be live with the FOMC. We will know 30 minutes before that they're going to have a 25 basis point rate cut, so that's expected, but we'll cover it. 30 minutes after, we go to Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell's speech will now be very important. Is Jerome Powell going to come out and say, inflation's now down, we're going to keep cutting rates, we've got enough data to suggest that inflation's under control, it's coming down to 2%, but the jobs markets are concerned, so we want to bring down rates, and he'll come out with a lot of dovish comments? Well, he's more likely to be dovish now. If the data was at 0.4 and 0.4 at consensus, he wouldn't really be dovish. He would just be neutral. He'll be waiting for more data, but this time he'll be a little bit more dovish. The only caveat is, this is the only data we got out. We haven't got jobs data officially. We've got private data. So Jerome Powell's speech might not be overly dovish. Why? CPI is down, but not down a massive amount. So that's not no reason to be overly dovish. But also because he won't have access to he will say, well, we don't have much jobs data. We have to look at the data. I want to be more data dependent. Next month, if the shutdown ends, we will have more data and we'll react to that data. He doesn't have all the data in the world. Remember, Jerome Powell loves his data, but he doesn't have much data to go off. So now I'm going to give you I'll give you more analysis after this as well. But for everyone who was waiting for the XRP link, let me give you that. So let me take that off the screen. I'll give you the XRP link. I'm going to give you one link that is way more important before. What is that link? Well, the link is to the newsletter. Every single morning, we spend 3 hours researching the top stories. If you are a real investor, if you want to be making money consistently, if you want to be knowing what's going on in the markets, but you don't want to be scouring the web, going on X, getting fake news, or if you're prone to getting fake news on X, because I know a lot of people, at least holding XRP, always come to me asking me questions from what they've heard on X. It's 90% of the time it's fake news. We give you the real news every single day to your inbox. It's very, very simple. There is a free plan. There is a premium plan. Essentially, every single morning, you get all the top stories at a glance. So you'll get what's happening in the market. Trump pardoning CZ, Coinbase CEO legislation, Ripple funding the new White House wing. I'm sure not many people knew that, but that's in the story. You've got behind the scenes, the Senate were questioning crypto CEOs yesterday. We're giving you all the information on that. We've got the UK retail resilience, which helps to understand that the market's resilient, and that comes over to the US. We've got the CPI data. That's all you've got. Sort of, you can read that, and you'll be much more up to date. And literally, it's for free. You get that. The link is in the live chat. That's the first thing you get. Then you get the one big thing. What's the one big thing in the market today? How do you navigate the market? Then you get the market snapshot, the main assets, what are they doing? Then from all those summaries, you get the actual stories. So Trump grants pardon to Binance co-founder. Here's the video of that happening.
The crypto person, a lot of people say that he wasn't guilty of anything. He served 4 months in jail, and they say that.
Anyway, we can watch the whole video. You can watch, you can read the analysis. You've got Brian Armstrong talking about regulation in the Senate. You've got Ripple funding the new wing. You've got crypto CEOs all talking in a room. Anyway, you've got all those top stories every single day, whatever's related to that day. And then you've got the deep dive. Today's CPI, you would have had all the information right in front of you, all the numbers. You would have had all my analysis. Again, this is every single day we put this newsletter up to for you. Then you get the economic calendar, what time everything comes out. And also the chart of the day. Today it was Enphase Energy, and you can see the levels that I'm looking to buy, the levels I'm looking to sell. Again, not financial advice. So go and check it out. I mean, we spend 3 or 4 hours every day. We want to bring you the real information. We don't want to be a fake channel. We don't want to be selling you what's it called? What everyone does, KuCoin leverage trading. So they make percentages on every time you lose money. Here is the link. I'm going to pin it as well to the chat. So it takes a second. There is a free trial for anyone who's wondering. There is a free plan. I'll tell you exactly how to do it. So if you click this link, go to the site, it will take you here. 7-day free trial for the annual plan. If you just click the annual plan, get a 7-day free trial, check it out, see if you like it. You can always cancel it. There's also a monthly plan. That monthly plan will be going up unless you sign up to it soon. Again, $14.99. Again, it works out to about 30 cents a day. I mean, to get all the news every single day from all the sources, it's. I mean, if I had access to this when I started out investing, I would snap it up and I'd be a much more successful trader. There's a founding membership if you want to support the show a bit more. There's also a free plan where you get the summary at the beginning every single day as well. So do check it out as well. We've also got a $2,000 giveaway. We're doing it live on the show. It's very, very easy to enter. It's free to enter. It's free for all. Whether you're a subscriber, whether you're a member, you can win $2,000 worth of XRP live on the show. We're doing it with our own money. We are giving it away because we love the people that watch our show. And again, very simple. So this is the link to it. I'll explain exactly how to enter, and then I'll come back to the analysis. Stop with the promo. We've literally given you 1 hour and 17 minutes of full deep dive analysis, and I'm not allowed to tell you about where we get our analysis from and the service that we provide, and I'm not allowed to tell you about a giveaway that we're running. I mean, I don't understand. If you don't want the promo, then you can leave the show. We give you 1 hour and 17 minutes of pure facts, and and I can't talk about the newsletter for 2 minutes, and I can't tell you about winning $2,000 worth of XRP. Anyway, there is a link now in the chat. It is the link to the giveaway. I've put it in the chat quite a few times. What that takes you to is this link here. There's only 52,000 tickets. That's not the number of people that have entered. There's about 200, 300 people that have entered. So there's a very, very good chance of you guys winning. And how do you win? Well, you click that link, you type in your email, and then you go down. It takes 3 minutes to do all the tasks. Some people are lazy, they only do one, and then they get less tickets. The more tickets you get, the more entries you have. You can win with just one ticket, though. Essentially, you can come here and do very, very easy tasks. If you do all of them, it takes about 3 minutes. Repost Martyn on X, that's 5 tickets. Repost another post of Martyn on X, another 5 tickets. You can do a post on X, that's 5 tickets. You can follow Martyn on X, 5 tickets. Follow Vaz on X, 5 tickets. Subscribe to Martyn on YouTube. You might already do it, so all you have to do is just click that button and then you just claim your tickets. If you've already done any of these, you can just claim your tickets and literally just go down there and you get more tickets. And then the winner will be announced live on the show. So if you want to win 2,000, it could be 3,000 of our money. If you want to win our money, free, no downloads or purchases needed, just do this. We just do this for fun. Yeah, exactly. That's what Martyn is saying. Martyn is on holiday right now. So yeah, I'm explaining to you this giveaway. Let me make this bigger. I don't know why that's so small. There we go. Thank you, human being, who has gifted 5 bronze memberships. 5 people have just won memberships. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, so you can claim those memberships. That is a very, very kind thing to do. I mean, I've always said the best way to Bloom has just become a member. Thank you very much. The best way to give to the show. How do I mute that? There we go. The best way to support the show is to support the community. So if anyone wants to do a super chat, instead of doing that, just gift some memberships so you can get other people to be part of the family. It's a very nice way to give back to community. If you guys are already part of the community, or if you want to be part of what someone said, that link doesn't give me anything. I think the link works. Why wouldn't the link work? Yep, here's the link. It works. Yeah, so you can go and press gift memberships, and you can gift memberships to the community. Let's go back to the markets, how they reacted since the initial pump consolidation on Bitcoin. XRP is initial pump, and it's actually heading higher now. Ethereum, not as strong as XRP. XRP looking the strongest out the bunch. The S&P 500 also holding up very strong. We got a comment from Martyn saying he's holding, I think, he's not FOMOing in. I didn't think he would. Yeah, Martyn says, I'm still holding 300,000 in T-bills. I'm not buying FOMO. Also, there's holes in the data. I'm still waiting. Still see a crash coming. Thank you, Martyn. So there is Martyn's analysis. He's still holding on the sidelines. At some point, in my opinion, we might get a euphoric run. Oh, someone else has done it. Sent 5 memberships. If everyone just sends 1 membership, we can get everyone being a member. That would be incredible. Josh Monroe has now done it. We had Human Being do it. Now we've got Josh Monroe giving 5 memberships away. Thank you so much, Josh Monroe. If anyone's won a membership, please do thank Josh and Human Being. If you haven't won one, the best way to do it is make sure you are subscribed, hitting the like button, engaging, and it does, YouTube picks it automatically that way. Oh, Philip has decided to become a bronze member himself. Thank you so much, Philip. Remember, anyone who's become a member, it doesn't auto-renew. You can go in, become an Electrum member. It's our newest membership. That way you get the Sunday shows, the sort of very small groups of us talking about the markets, doing the trivia quiz every Sunday. If no one's subscribed to Electrum yet, please do it. I don't think anyone has done it this week. We've got an event on Sunday. This is the last event before I go live on Sunday. So the Sunday shows are now shorter because we do the Electrum event straight after. So if everyone has done Electrum, if no one's upgraded to Electrum, that's our newest membership. You get all the perks of bronze, all the perks of silver, then all the new perks of Electrum, which is that live trivia night and everything like, and all the analysis, all the trivias related to the market. You learn a lot, and then we do all the chart analysis. If anyone becomes an Electrum member today on this show, I'll take note of your name and I'll do you a free chart analysis. Did someone just do? Why does that come up on my sheet? Oh yeah, Josh Monroe has given 5 bronze membership. Thank you so much, Josh Monroe. We've got 2 new members as well. We've got Philip has become a bronze member. Philip, consider upgrading to Electrum, but thank you so much for becoming a bronze member. You get lots and lots of perks. And also, Evastro Roman has become a bronze member. Thank you to you guys as well. Kazanska, anyone in the crypto using ETAs? ETAs? Do you mean ETNs? ETAs? I don't think it's. Do you mean the new sort of ETFs we have here in the UK, Kazanska? Well done, nice. Any more gifted, please? You have to wait. Some people might gift memberships. You can also gift memberships yourself as a non-member as well, but there might be more, there might not be. If you do want to gift memberships, you go down here and then you can do a super chat or gift memberships. Any more gifted? Okay, when will the video come out? The video on the crypto ETFs, I will probably do it this weekend, so it'll come out by this time, by Monday next week. Gold market, please. You want to have a look at gold? Gold has been crashing down, but again, I'm not worried about that. Thank you, YT Premium. Please do thank Josh Monroe for your membership. So gold, yeah. Oh, we've got someone else come a bronze member. Field Ski, you're going to get so many perks and benefits. I mean, this channel, if it's the first time you have come to this channel, you're going to love it. You won't get enough of it because we are the only real, true, honest channel. We go through all our members' comments and all our. We do care about our members a lot. I'm going to put a poll in the chat actually. Is how long have you been watching this channel? First time. KC has come in with 5 Martyn Lucas memberships. Wow, look at that. That's incredible. Thank you so much, KC. Oh. Sorry about that. That was bad reaction. There we go again. Over. Thank you so much, Casey. If you do want to claim it, please hit the like button, subscribe, and hopefully you win a membership. Look at these. The members are amazing. The members always love giving back. David Hensley has given away 1 membership as well. Thank you so much, David Hensley. Look at that. I'm going to put a poll in the channel to see how long people have been watching this channel. Over 12 months. Have you been subbed to this channel? How long have you been subbed to the channel? First time or today?
Evaristo Roman has become a member.
Congratulations on winning your membership. Let me put this poll in the chat. So the markets are selling off. This is gold actually. Gold is yeah, I mean the gold wouldn't have it. Gold is in the downtrend until it finds a base and then it will consolidate and then go up in my opinion. But I'm pretty sure yeah, XRP is holding up strong. The S&P 500 is consolidating as well. I think this will turn into a rally. At least we're set up very, very nicely for the FOMC meeting next week. How long have you been subscribed to the channel? Is it today your first day? Under a month? Under 1 month? Under 12 months? Let me know in the poll. Wow, a lot of new subscribers is today. Let me go to the subscribers. A lot of you saying today. 105,670. Oh my God, we've got so many new subscribers today. I did not even realize. Look at that, 105,670. Can we get it up to 105,700? I like even numbers. That is incredible. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Wow, I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that. Afternoon Sensei, all members.
5,481 has become a member.
Thank you for becoming a member. There we go. If you do want there's so many questions coming through. If you do want your question highlighted, you can do a super chat and I will read it on the screen. Let's go through your questions. Yeah, and again, if you didn't catch that newsletter link, there is that newsletter link. If you didn't catch the giveaway link, there is the giveaway link. Has someone else done it? Karen! Oh, one of our lady investors. We're trying to make this a safer space, a more accessible space for lady investors. Because so many channels are just bro channels and it's I don't really enjoy it. But Karen is one of our wonderful lady members and she's given away 5 Martyn Lucas investor memberships. That is incredible. Please thank her. when you receive your membership. Look at that. Philip upgraded to Electrum. Philip upgraded to Electrum. We've got our first Electrum member upgraded. If anyone does upgrade to Electrum, I'll take note of your name and do a chart request for you. So Philip, let me know in the chat well, I'll just write your name down. I'll write your name down, join the Sunday event, and you'll get all your analysis. We're going to have an event on Sunday. Check it out. Thank you for becoming a member. And obviously you get all your perks of bronze and silver plus Electrum. So I'm going to make note of your name so I don't forget who just became Electrum. That was Philip Bradley. Philip Bradley just became a Electrum member. How amazing is that? Bradley. Thank you guys for all the support today. Oh my God, look at this. I'm going to try and answer some questions as well, but this is going crazy. So many people winning memberships. I love it when more people join the family. It's incredible. And we're trying to build the best, most honest, and most real YouTube channel in the world. Brett has now become a member as well. Welcome all. What 11 we start. Someone wants to give me a membership around 6 months. Curious. We can't choose who gets the membership. It's normally the most engaged people get it. That's what we think. So that's why I always say the best way to make sure you get a good chance is by subscribing, hitting the like button, and engaging with us. Get to news, bro. So the news has come out. The news has already come out. We'll analyze it more in a second, but the news has come out. Essentially, today we had an hour preparation until we got the market. We planned for it perfectly. It happened perfectly. Due to our analysis. What was it? Well, it was CPI inflation data came out this morning, about half an hour ago now, where the consensus was 0.4 for month-on-month, 3.1 on month on year-on-year, 0.3 excluding food and energy month-on-month, 3.1 including food and energy year-on-year. Excluding food and energy year-on-year, and everything came out. All of those data points 0.1% less than expected, which is good. That means inflation's down. Means you can continue. I thought someone else just donated 5 memberships, but it's just a bit behind. So it's just a bit below what the consensus was, what the market priced in. So inflation down means that the Fed has a bit more of a path to cut rates. It gives them some breathing room. If I come down to our analysis earlier, so what we got off was we were now risk on because there's now a cut, meaning rate cuts can happen. So we did get the all-time highs, and we said if there's any sort of rate lower expectations, if there was, we said earlier, if CPI is lower than consensus, we will get all-time highs in the S&P 500. That has just happened. But we also said there's a sliding scale. If it's really below, if it's 0.2 or 0.3% below, we'll go into a crazy euphoric run. If it's only 0.1 below, it's still great, and we'll probably still be bullish, and we'll probably rally, and we'll get all-time highs in the S&P 500, but we still have to wait to see what Jerome Powell says next week. We'll be covering that event live on the show as well. So so CPI was soft. We're going to get a 25 basis point cut next week. We might get a balanced Powell. We probably will get a balanced Powell. That means we're on risk on mode. The soft landing momentum continues. Remember, we're not looking at a recession at this point, even though I think there might be a recession in 2026. There's no evidence to suggest that just yet. With all the data we're coming out, Need for Speed has become a member as well, or has won a membership. Congratulations. We're looking at soft landing, not recession. We're looking at the Q4 rally now extending. We're looking at potentially a bull market continuing, an altcoin season, and a more euphoric run before we get corrections. Because remember, you can't forget we are sort of in a bubble. We might be at the end part of the bubble where we get euphoria and the blow off top. And this data does help suggest that we can still be in that situation. The best news is that CPI didn't come in hot, because if CPI came in hot, the markets would crash. Powell would be hawkish, but we haven't got a CPI being hot. So that is the main story of today. CPI is not hot. Might not mean we rally 10% today, but it does mean it opens the doors that we don't have a crash and we go into euphoric run before the crash comes, potentially Q1 of 2026.
Has become a member.
Thank you, Jim, for becoming a member. So So yeah, now all eyes are on the FOMC meeting next week. So the FOMC meeting next week, the funds rate is at 4% to 4.25%. After we got a rate cut in September, markets are now pricing in, and they were, and we were going to get that anyway, a 25 basis point rate cut. We're not getting a 50 basis point rate cut. If anyone's going to start saying that on X, just it's not going to happen. We're not going to get a pause. We're going to get a rate cut next week. I'm 100% confident in it. So you can hold me to that. You can unsubscribe if that doesn't happen. I'm sure it will. Markets will, yeah, but that's already priced in. So we're going to get a 25 basis point rate cut. That will confirm the move towards policy pivot that we got in September, the rate cut. We're expecting another rate cut potentially in December now as well. That's becoming more apparent because of the CPI print. However, Powell will come out and say that there is a data shutdown. We're not getting as much data. We don't know what's going on in the jobs market, but we are quite confident to cut rates because when we are over restricting the market, and the jobs market is what we want to focus on, and inflation's coming down. So he will be slightly dovish, in my opinion, but it will be what he says in that Q&A, which will move the market and potentially lead us into a bigger rally. If he says, "Oh, we didn't need the data, we don't need any jobs data. It's very clear to us that we need to focus on the jobs market and the inflation's under control. This is great news." Then the markets at that point will rally into that big Q4 bull market where all coins pump, and then at some point the bubble has to burst, and that bubble will burst potentially, in my opinion, in Q1 of 2026 if everything goes well. But the FOMC is something we're covering next week. I'll give you the link to it if you haven't already looked at it. This is our event next week on FOMC. We'll be covering it live. You can click on it and then press notify me, and then that way you'll get notified. You can go and hit the like button so it suggests it to you when that happens, or as long as you're subscribed and you've got your bell notification on. So I suggest everyone does this. Have your notifications on, you'll get notified when we go live with any of these events, which will be amazing. So let me go through your questions now. The market is holding up quite nicely. I think this will turn into a rally. I don't think we're just going to sell off, at least on the S&P 500. It looks like it's going to continue. We'll see what happens, but essentially it doesn't matter what happens today or tomorrow. The news is great. Inflation's down. Let's wait to FOMC. It might be a little bit volatile until then. I think it will trend up until the FOMC. But yeah, I wouldn't be trading on a day-to-day basis. I'll be confident to be in my positions at this point with this data. Again, not long-term, because we all know the market's overvalued, and we do have to have money on the side to buy a crash if it does, when it comes. It's not really an if, it's when it comes. But for now, I am quite confident still being in the market because of the CPI print. Remember, if CPI was hot, the markets will crash. So this is a very, very good outcome. Let's go over to Bloomberg for a second, and then I'll come into members only mode. If you want to become a member, remember Electrum is our newest membership. Someone's upgraded to it. I'll take note of your name so that we can do all your analysis on that Electrum event. Electrum events are very fun. Essentially get all the perks of bronze and silver. Then on a Sunday, we do the trivia night where we do all your sort of chart requests. It's a very small group of us, so we can answer all the questions. And we also do trivia where people win merchandise, chart requests, all sorts of things, because we're looking at the market and we're asking questions about the previous week, how to invest, trivia about the markets, sometimes some general knowledge about the channel as well. But yeah, it's a very fun quiz night with a great system that we use. So consider becoming an Electrum member. Let's go over to Bloomberg, see what they're talking about right now. Intel is just, I think Intel has reported earnings.
To an extent, at least based on financial metrics, but the environment for them was a lot better than perhaps they had thought. You know, PC processors is still their bread and butter, and you know, Windows had a refresh, AI PC is strong, they benefited from that. But they're also finding a little bit of a foothold in data centers and servers, noting that they don't do the sexy bit. They don't do the GPU that NVIDIA does. But their argument is that the hyperscalers and other data center operators realize that the CPU is ready for a refresh, and so they're investing, and Intel's a beneficiary of that.
Hey, at my weekly dad lunch, the topic of conversation has been whether or not ChatGPT will be a monopoly. And I see you wrote a story yesterday with a couple of your colleagues, Davey Alba and Rachel Metz, about Alphabet working with Anthropic. What's the deal?
7 more subscribers. Can we do it?
I mean, Anthropic is a frontier model lab, an AI lab that has just intense demand for compute.
Intel up 6%. Great for AI.
Reporting from earlier in the week, right? But 1 trillion TPUs, 1 million TPUs, 1 million of Google's custom processors is a massive win and validation of their custom technology for both running models, inference, and training them with Anthropic, who historically have been very closely aligned with Amazon. And so, you know, that was a very interesting dynamic to play out this week. It's not been a very good week for Amazon and AWS, frankly. So the fact that Google's willing to back Anthropic at that level with the compute they need would suggest to answer.
Yeah, very good earnings from Intel, and it's at 5% pre-market. Brilliant. There's one thing. Let me just go through this poll. This is incredible. 53% of you have only subscribed today. We've got a lot of new subscribers. Thank you so much for all of you who joined. Remember, this channel isn't unlike others. We're live all the time. If we make videos, we make them while we're live. We're not interested in making money by just making videos and not talking to our audience. We care about audience. We don't take big sponsorships. We don't take sponsorships from crypto companies. Martyn's repeatedly said he gets $30,000, $50,000 offers to promote certain things. We're not going to be bought out. We occasionally promote our own things, such as our Discord. Do consider subscribing to our Discord, our own merchandise, our newsletter, becoming a member. But it's not stuff that will hurt you. It's stuff that will help you become a better investor. Other channels want to get you into leverage trading, want to get you to buy pump and dump projects, want you to invest in FTX. And we're not like that. We won't sell ourselves out. So thank you for all the new subscribers. Hopefully over time you'll see how valuable this family is. We engage with our community. We go live. We answer all your questions. So let me end that poll now. A lot of new subscribers today. Appreciate every one of you. And it's also all the people that have been subscribed for under a month, under 12 months, and all the ones that have been with us for over a year. Thank you so much for your ongoing support as well. It's amazing what 0.1 difference makes. Yes, it is very, very, very different, because it's actually a lot in CPI, because that's month on month. It compounds over the year. So it's, yeah, it's, but yeah, I know what you mean, but it's that precise that 0.1% can be make or break. From consensus to 0.1% up, the market will overreact and crash if it were 0.1% above consensus. That's how the markets would absolutely overreact and crash. So anyway, I'm glad we didn't get that. Let me show you this as well. This is our own official merchandise store. So do consider going to martynlucasshop.com. So this is martynlucasshop.com. This is the official merchandise store. There is quite a few items here. You have the 100,000 collection, but that's all sold out. Maybe there's a charity mug left. I think there's one charity mug left potentially on the shop. No, yeah, the 100K collection is basically sold out, but you can get your own XRP merchandise. We actually pay to bring this logo to you, so it's not fake. We actually pay. It's all legitimate. We bring this logo to you. We've got the XRP is not a security mug. There's only 2 of these mugs left. If you are an XRP fan, this is when Brad went to Senate. XRP is not a security. That's this mug over here. What else do we have? We've got the XRP phone case. Those are sold out. We've got the XRP hoodie. This is a great item. Excuse me, I'm still unwell. The XRP hoodie, it's embroidered hoodie. You've got my logo, Martyn's logo on the hoodie as well. So do consider getting the hoodie. We've also got the t-shirt, the XRP t-shirt. You can get the t-shirt with the mug for a good discount. Let me give you that link, because this will give you both of them for a good discount. What else do we have on the shop? We've got, what mugs do we still have available? Yeah, the XRP is not a security mug. There's a few left over there. The supporters mug, the dip. When we bought the big dip, there's only one of these left. These are the magic mugs. This is the one we bought out when we bought the tariff dip, and we were very, very confident with our purchase. Buy the dip. There's only one left. Remember, this is the one where you pour hot water in it, and it shows the design. That's the buy the dip mug. Interesting why those are sold out. But yeah, you can get Martyn's mug. You can get my mug. What else do we have? Yeah, so we're going to come out with some calendars and also the Christmas advent calendar as well. So just a little insight there. So get ready for that as well. But that's martynlucasshop.com. Okay, let's go back into markets. I told you XRP is going to continue, and now it's above $2.48. This is going to get above $2.50 today. XRP, big news. Remember that Evernorth, $1 billion of XRP is going to be purchased, and it's going to be more. Lots more companies are now partnering and buying XRP for the biggest treasury out there. So that's going to be in the US. That's going to be a Nasdaq listed firm with XRPN as the ticker symbol, and they're going to be buying $1 billion worth of XRP, or $1 billion XRP. So that would be, I think it's $1 billion worth of XRP, but more and more companies are partnering. Ripple's partnered with them as well. Chris Larsen is adding to that. Other companies, Kraken, are partnering with that. So XRP has the fuel to go up. It just needs a little spark to push it towards the upside. Again, I'm not going to come out and say we're going to go to $10 overnight, or we're going to go to $50 this cycle. I don't think that's going to happen. But I do think we do have a good chance of having that final bull market that takes XRP to $5, $7, $10 this cycle. And CPI today allows that to happen. If CPI was bad, then we could be calling a bear market today, and we're not calling a bear market today. We're calling a continuation of this euphoric run. Ethereum doesn't have anything to really back it up to go up, so it's not performing well. Bitcoin is also holding. As long as Bitcoin's above 100,000, the bull market is still on. The S&P 500 is holding up as well, up to all-time highs today, up 0.62%. Let's go over to other markets. The market will be opening in 15 minutes as well. Let's see if we can put a countdown for market open. So market's opening in... That's the wrong one. Let's put a countdown until the market open. That's happening in 15 minutes. See how the market reacts on open. Market open. That's happening. We're just putting a countdown. And we'll cover the market open today. Market open is on... why is that? Where's my countdown gone? There it is. Okay. 13 minutes until market open. Let me go over to members. Are we on members mode already? Let me go over to members mode and then answer all your questions as well. We've got new members. If you want to become a member, oh yeah, we are in members mode. Perfect. Is the Get to Chopper mug still available? Yeah, the Get to the Chopper mug is a special mug. It is the one where it gives you a full technical and full chart analysis video. I think it is still available. If we go over here to mugs, the Get to the Chopper mug. Yeah, I think that one is still available. Where is it? Yeah, it's here. Yeah, only 5 available. This one gives you the full fundamental analysis. So Martyn will do a video for you. I'll do a technical analysis video as well for you. And this is the Get to the Chopper mug, and that's why it's priced accordingly for a full video for you. Yeah, that's this mug over here, Seth Houston. Have we done it? 105,700. I want to see if we can get up to 700. 3 more. 1 more. Are we going to do it? Yes, we've done it. 105,703 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Let's go over to your question now. We'll go over to Q&A while keeping an eye on the market and waiting for the market to open. So members only mode is on. Let me just go back a little bit. Can I get a freebie? That's up to someone giving away memberships. Casey, way to go. Yeah, amazing from Casey. Hype will fly towards $100, remember. I think we could get to $50 to $100 maybe next market cycle, but not anytime soon. God, I don't understand how. I was going on YouTube yesterday and there was just some random, not even random, really big channels just spewing absolute nonsense about XRP going to $1,000 tomorrow, or Donald Trump repricing XRP, and it's not going to happen, folks. No one's going to reprice XRP for you to a special magical number. They're not going to price gold and XRP, or bring XRP to gold's prices, or all these random stuff people are saying, and I guess they can be quite convincing, but that's not the truth. That is not the truth. They're making you click and watch their videos. How many times have they been wrong? How many times have they been calling for $1,000 XRP next week? They're wrong. It's not going to happen. Maybe it will happen in 10 years, but not because of repricing for tomorrow. I agree this day is going to be memorable. I'm worried that we got data as a trap. I don't think so. Not for now, anyway. Sensei, do you think XRP will pump next few hours? Yeah, I think so. Hype will fly towards $100. I don't think so anytime soon. Is XRP going to pump? I think it will, and it is. Yeah, we're right about that. Will gold market up this coming week? I think gold is going to go into, it's going to find its base. It's going to crash down, maybe go down a bit more, then pump up and then consolidate, just like it previously did. I'll show you what I mean by it previously did. I'm still bullish on gold and silver. I think gold can go to $5,000 an ounce if it really wants to, or 4,000 this year, 10,000 next year. I'm that bullish on gold and silver. There's no money like it, especially in this day and age. Everything else is debt. Gold is just gold. So yeah, what do I mean by that? Well, if we go to the 3-day time frame, and you look at this big rally up. No one believed this rally. We predicted it from $1,500 an ounce. We predicted this rally. Everyone said it's going to crash, and everyone thought this was going to be the crash at $3,000. I said it's not going to be the crash. It's going to continue going up. It went all the way up to $3,500. Then we got a big move towards the downside, and everyone then started calling it a crash. It's going to come down. We're not going to go any higher. Bear market started. Gold is overvalued. It dropped 11%. I said it's not, it's going to start consolidating. It popped up, it consolidated, and then I said as soon as we break out this consolidation, we're going to go on a major move up, and we did. So I think we're at this sort of phase for gold where you've really, really accelerated towards the upside, then you have a big crash, and then you find your base and you consolidate before moving towards the upside again. So I think we'll get something similar. So if we look at from the high to low there, something like that. Something similar happen here. Right now, that high to low is exactly the same, the high to low, and then potentially consolidate in a tighter pattern. If I go over here, let me bring that up as well, just the exact same. We could have a consolidation somewhere in the middle of this, a tighter zone where we consolidate, or it could just be this wide zone. Consolidate, find its base, and then go up to $5,000, $4,700 an ounce on gold. Silver is obviously going to be more volatile towards the downside. What would be great is for silver, what I'm going to be looking for is silver to start consolidating above its all-time high. I want it to start consolidating over the next week. I want it to see it be above $50 and consolidate there, and then I'll be even more bullish on silver for it to go to $100 potentially by year end, as long as it holds $50. So I might see if next week we'll keep an eye on silver to get back above $50 to see if we consolidate above there before the next big move up to 75 and then potentially $100. So yeah, still bullish on both of them. Again, not financial advice. We are in members only mode. If you want to ask a question, you can become a member. Let me go over to the members questions. Where is the members mode? Is it possible for you guys to turn on captions and transcripts for the hearing impaired? Yes, you can. You can definitely do that. So we do run captions, Tanks Alive. So if you go, how do we do this? Oh, it says turn. Yeah, there's a button that you press and say captions. Is it not working? I think it's not working. Maybe it's because the stream's in a different setting. Yes, you know what I'll do just for you, Tanks Alive, is that something that really helps you? The stream latency has changed to low latency, so I can make the latency of the stream a little bit longer, only a few seconds, and then the transcripts will be available live. They're always available on our videos and after live streams ended. But Tanks Alive, is that something you'd like me to do? You are a member for over 6 months, so if you do want me to make it available during a live show, I will change the settings and make sure it is from now on. Just let me know if that helps, then I will do it. Philip says, welcome to Electrum. Thank you for becoming an Electrum member. Remember, anyone who becomes an Electrum member, I've taken note of your name. We do our own pump. Thank you so much for my membership. No worries. Please do thank whoever. Wasn't me. New subs here. Let me go to members. Crypto ETFs. Is that what you meant, Kazansky? Here in the UK, I'm doing a video on that this weekend. Get a cake, be ready for a cut, says Sensei. I love it. Yeah, be ready for a cut. It's happening next week. The Electrum events are awesome. You learned so much and it's fun. Thank you, David Hensley. It's a bit of both, isn't it? But yeah, they are great fun. Mr. Robert says it's amazing how much a 0.1% difference makes. Yes, it is. Welcome all new entries. Yes, human being. Thank you so much for your support and welcoming new members in. Answer that question. Good morning, Banana Head says. Ricardo, welcome in. Overslept. No worries. You missed all the fun. Markets are opening in 6 minutes, so not all the fun. Let me go back here. Oh, that's neat. Didn't know it came with that. Yeah, it does come with that. Yeah, that's why it's priced. I think it's double the price of a normal market because of that perk, and it's top of the list, so it happens literally on the day. Again, obviously when Martin's back, but yeah. Thank you, says Mr. Roberts. These need to start 1 hour. These need to start an hour and a half later. It's 6 a.m. here. Chris Carpenter, we're here for the early birds. We're here for the people that want to 2 hours before the opening bell. We are live to get prepared for the opening bell. No, I understand. In some places it's later. You can always rewatch the stream. We try and be live for the opening bell. So normally when Martin is here, obviously he's on holiday, I'm 2 hours before I go 2 hours before the opening bell in the US. And then I go live for an hour. Then Martin covers an hour before the opening bell, and then sort of an hour, 2 hours after the opening bell. So he's live throughout the time, and then he comes back for the closing bell show. So obviously things are a little bit different now. Martin's not here, but you can always rewatch the stream as well. I apologize for the timing. For some people, it's if we go an hour and a half later, they'll be asleep. There's people in Australia that watch us, and it's coming up to midnight now. So it can't make everyone happy, but yeah, I mean, 2 hours opening bell is the most important time, I think. So Martin's normally live for that. Back to the markets. Let's have a look at the markets before the bell goes. Crypto market is just not holding up too well after that Friday crash. It needs some proper momentum. Otherwise, this could be the start of the bear market for the crypto market. But CPI came in well. So we just need some bullish remarks from Powell, and we can get that last euphoric run. Yeah, if you look at a lot of these tokens, Gala, Aptos, they're just making new lows. Waves is down, Uniswap is down, close to its bear market lows. Arweave lower than its below its bear market lows. It's not looking good for a lot of altcoins, and that's why I always said quality is what you need. Bitcoin, XRP, maybe Ethereum. Though that should build up 90% of your crypto portfolio. What else do we have in the crypto market? We've got a few things up today. We've got XRP up and CRO up 5%. XRP up, sort of the second largest mover. It's up 4% because there's actually really good news underlying XRP's utility. So that's why it's up more. It's not just based on hype. A lot of these tokens are just based off hype cycles, which is fine. Invest in them. But if you don't get that hype cycle, if you don't get the euphoric run, get ready to lose all your money. At least with XRP, I'm happy to hold it for a bear market because I know what I'm holding and I'll just buy more in a bear market. So yeah, crypto market's fairly down apart from the quality. XRP, Ethereum's up a little bit, Bitcoin's up slightly, Dogecoin's up 1.5%, ADA's up 1.8% as well. We need a lot more momentum to push this to all-time highs. We might get it with the FOMC as well. So let me go over to the stock market because that's been a much better performer over the last 3 years, apart from sort of Bitcoin and Ethereum, maybe Bitcoin and XRP. But most of the time, the stock market has been better. Moving over to the stock market, we've got Luna up 8% yesterday, up 2% in the pre-market. We did actually look at this as an entry point at $6.50. That was great. So yeah, that's looking good. Vivo Power, the XRP treasury company, it's just consolidating, nothing too special. I own a little bit of that. SBC up 6% yesterday, up 1.2% in the pre-market. SBC, Virgin Galactic, it's formed its base. It's getting closer and closer and closer to profitability. When is their earnings call? It's in 20 days. If anyone wants us to cover it, you can do a $10 super chat. Remember, we are in earnings season. If you are investing in these companies, you want to be listening to their earnings. We can do it together. And how do you do that? Well, you can subscribe to the. Let me just sort that out. Why is that gone there? You can subscribe to the Martyn Lucas newsletter. Not newsletter. What am I talking about? I'm just trying to sort this out. There we go. I apologize. My camera's gone a bit weird. What was I saying? Yeah, earnings. If you want the earnings, we could do it together. And the way to do it is you could do a $10 super chat and we would cover the earnings call together. So it'll be live chat, some earnings that are coming up. Just do a super chat, and in the super chat, write which earnings you want us to cover. So for example, if you want SBC, you can do a $10 super chat and we'll cover Virgin Galactic earnings when it comes. Today is the 24th, so there's no more earnings today. I don't think so. We'll go over to next week. Let me refresh this. If anyone, next week's a big week for earnings. Again, more volatility coming with FOMC. So next week could be the biggest week of the year in the stock market because we've got major earnings and FOMC. So if you want to book anything Monday, you can have a look at these logos. I don't think I know any of them, but that doesn't matter. On Tuesday, we've got SoFi, PayPal, UPS, AMT, RCL. Pre-market after close, we've got Visa, Enphase. Ooh, Enphase earnings, that could be a massive one. That's going to bring a lot of volatility to the stock. We actually did a chart for it in the newsletter today, so check it out. Enphase after close on Tuesday. You can do a $10 super chat and we will do that. I would love to cover that actually. Wednesday, pre-market, CAT, BA, ADP, Etsy, UBS. There's more as well. Yeah, any of them. After close, big. Here's when it gets big for the whole market. Remember, we're going to come over to the market open. We've got Microsoft, Meta, Google, all of that. Friday, pre-market, Lilium, or Lily. We've got after close, Apple, Amazon, Coinbase, and we're going over to the market open now. The bell is going. We'll go through all our major positions. Good day in the markets. We can put the song on. It's been a good day.
Living together in seemingly perfect harmony until one day a young
Let's go through our positions.
This is Phoenix.
Here we go. Let's go through our main positions. Oh, Jason Fallon, member for 3 years.
Jason Fallon 6,378 has become.
Wait, we need to rerun the music, not only because the market's open and we can go through the positions. We've just got Jason Fallon, who's been a member and supporter for 3 years. Here we go again. Thank you, Jason Fallon. The morning bell is dedicated to you. Here we go.
Together in seemingly perfect harmony until one day a young man catches fire.
Let's go through our positions. AMD up today, 4.36%, all-time highs on AI. AMD's target is now $320, absolutely incredible. Coinbase up 3.73% today, coming up to the target of $350. Might get there today. Remember, we bought Coinbase at, I think we bought it live on the show at $30. The trade was at $60. All targets hit. Congratulations. Let me bring this down slightly. Let me bring this up slightly. There we go. Let me go through. Joby is up 3.64% today. Coming up to the target of $17, then is it going to break out to all-time highs? SoundHound AI up 4% today. Congratulations on everyone who took the trade at $8. We called it live on the show. There you go, SoundHound AI now above $18. Target is $28. Robinhood, congratulations to all Hood investors. We were buying this at $12. It's currently at $140, on its way to all-time highs. I wouldn't really be buying it now, but if you're in it, congratulations. Vertical Aerospace coming into support around $4. Look, it's in the middle of no man's land. Is it going to go to $3.50 first or $6? Well, if you want to be part of it, you're in the middle, so it's not a terrible time to buy. Again, not financial advice. Let's bring down the sound effects. If you are watching, hit the like button, subscribe as well. Let's move on to Palantir. Palantir is up 2% today. I wouldn't be touching this at all. Congratulations to everyone in it, but the PE is unbelievable. Archer is up 1.26%. Enphase Energy getting ready for its earnings. We did a chart on this, and it's looking good. It's up 2.3% today. Why is it pumping? Why is what pumping? AMD's pumping because of Intel. Intel's up, and the market's pumping because of CPI. Vivo Power up 1.2%, Luna up now 4%, SMCI up 3%, MicroStrategy up 2%, Alibaba up 1.5%, Circle up 1.5%, ARK Invest up 1.6%, Tilray up 1.4%, TSM up 1.85% as well. Look at that trade on TSM. We bought it at $140. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Rocket Lab up 2%. We bought it at $4. It's now at 64. Lyft. Russell is breaking out. This is always great to see the Russell breaking out to all-time highs. Great for crypto, great for risk on after CPI today. PayPal up 1.5%. iBet up 1%. Nvidia now up 1.7%. Hit our target exactly to the T and sold off at $194. Congratulations. Google up 1.7%. Nasdaq up 1%, Virgin Galactic up 2%, S&P up 0.7%, Snapchat up 0.7%, Rivian up 0.5%, Meta up 0.5%, Amazon up 1%. What else do we have? Disney up 0.5% today, Microsoft up 0.6%, Berkshire Hathaway up 0.1%, McDonald's flat on the day, Fiverr up 0.6%, Pfizer up 0.4%, Dollar Tree at, again, what an amazing trade for Dollar Tree. We bought it at $60. Congratulations, everyone. Coca-Cola, what an amazing trade. Martin told you about this so many times. $65, now at $70. Congratulations. J&J down slightly. Wrap Technologies down slightly. Tesla down after its earnings. Netflix flat after a big downfall on its earnings. I wouldn't be buying Netflix. Don't really like them. GME down 0.2%. And Wito, the XRP company, hitting new all-time lows, potentially showing some opportunity there. Those are our stock market positions. If we go over to the indicators as well, we've got total cryptocurrency market up today 1.3%. We've got oil up slightly. We've got gold down slightly, recovering as well, which is good, only down 0.2%. Silver down 0.3%, and the VIX is down today. Over to Bloomberg. What are they talking about?
Stimulus into this economy.
Emily, it's an interesting environment because you have that at the same time that you have Trump sparring with Canada over trade talks, with trade talks on deck for China. From Bespoke, they said companies so far on their earnings calls are avoiding mentions of negative macroeconomic headwinds on their earnings calls. Are you surprised that more of corporate America isn't citing this macro environment, or has it just become all the more friendly for them?
I think there's a certain amount of fear out there. I think people are trying to avoid any kind of statement that could be construed as political. Why do that? Why put your head up above the parapet? And so I think it's probably prudent on their part. I think it's unfortunate because I think what we need is transparency and communication, and we want to hear during company.
Give me one moment. I need to fix this.
Macro environment and what they're concerned about. But I think we're getting less of that disclosure, frankly.
You mentioned that we're in the greed stage and that we could have, if you look at the parallels of AI to the telecom boom that we saw in the late 90s, very early 2000s. Maybe.
There we go. S&P 500, Nasdaq, 100 are surging to record highs. Let me go over to your comments and questions. Where is this gone? Over here. Does that work? Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so let's see what's going on with the members' comments. I'm going to open this up to the general public now as well. Members have managed to ask their questions. Let me go back to general public as comments. 1 second, please. Here we go. Subscribers. There we go. So again, Jason Tallon, thank you so much for being a member for that many years. Oh, we've got a new member.
At Minandro Cabrito 533 has become a member.
Thank you, Miner. You've upgraded to silver, but you're one away from Electrum. upgrade to Electrum. Thank you for upgrading to silver. But Electrum is, if you're a silver member, Electrum is amazing. It's a small additional cost, but you get so much value for going to Electrum, and you get to be part of our Electrum nights as well on Sunday with the trivia. Thank you so much for upgrading to silver, but consider upgrading to Electrum as well. Ricardo overslept. You're welcome, guys. By the way, it's funny to hear you in German. Listen to crypto German and listen to crypto video in German. Understood better. Oh, lovely. Yeah, that is a new feature that we've added to the channel that you can listen. I think it's just another someone else's voice. But yeah. Oh, here we go. We've got the Bloomberg terminal here. 1 second.
That gives you a boost to your tech stocks. Nvidia, the biggest mover by market cap, followed by Broadcom, Alphabet, Amazon. If you're a Mag 7 holder, it's a good day for you for everything except your Tesla in your Mag 7. Tesla, a crazy day yesterday. They had earnings that disappointed, despite the fact they had record EV sales. Higher, it is lower yet again, some real volatility. Newmont, one of the worst performers too this morning. They said that they're not going to be spending as much as the market had hoped on new gold mining operations. A disappointment there. Netflix down incredibly sharply, it would appear this. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at Deckers. Deckers is down 14. They're close to each other. Deckers is down 14% because no one wants to buy Uggs and Hokas. Netflix, though, Matt, did have bad earnings, so I'm not totally without reason flagging Netflix. Just a quick look at some of the sectors. Most of them are in the green today. Again, it's the macro story of CPI allowing the Fed to cut. Infotech, that is number one, followed by financials and communications. Materials, the only sector lower, Matt.
I'm going to push back on the Hokas because my former co-anchor, Katie Greifeld, and now co-anchors the close of the Romain Bostic. She buys a new pair of Hokas like every 6 weeks.
I guess that's not enough to support them because they didn't have good earnings, Matt.
I'm going to tell Katie to step it up.
More Hokas. Maybe she needs to start buying Uggs too. Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah, I
don't know what Hokas are, by the way. Someone let me know in the chat.
Being the case on the weekends. Coming up, Ugg and Hoka maker Deckers. We're going to talk more about this. Absolutely pummeled. You can see this chart year to date, losing more than 50% of its market cap. This company, it's been a tough year for shareholders.
What's Hokas and what's Deck? Let's have a look because that's interesting. If it's down 50%, that might be an interesting to have a look at. It's down 50%. Oh no, it looks like it's going to go down further. What is Hokas? Someone let me know in the chat. I have no idea what that is. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be looking to buy this yet. I might start opening a position around $80. Yeah, depending on their earnings and their fundamentals. But yeah, I'll add this to the watch list. I will add this stock to watch list, but I have no idea what it is, and I don't know what Hokas are either. So someone hopefully will let me know. Let me add this to the watch list deck. Okay, let me go over to the comments. Let me keep that open over here. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. So, thoughts on HBAR and ADA? I like both of them, but again, I prefer XRP because I don't think that will go down as much in a bear market. ADA is a little bit stronger than HBAR, but in a bull market, I like all of them. Thank you for all the new subscribers. Yeah, I like them both. It all depends on what Bitcoin does and if we continue a bull market. SBC moved to November the 15th. Oh, really? Okay, exactly. Thank you very much. If you want us to cover it, you can do a $10 super chat. KC Crypto says, Sensei, how are you planning for both? Okay. Casey's asked me a question that will take 3 hours to explain. Sensei, how are you planning for both a bull and bear market scenarios for crypto? I'm curious how you balance both at the same time. I'll try and summarize it. How am I preparing for bull market and bear market? Well, there's one option. One is, well, essentially, I've taken some profits off XRP back 6 months ago or something when we hit $3.40. But that's all the profits I'm looking to take. So I'm essentially 90% still invested in the market, in the crypto market. I am still expecting a bull market, so that's why I'm still invested. So if the bull market comes, I've got certain levels I will sell my crypto at. $4.50, $5, $8, $10. If the bull market doesn't come and we go into a bear market, I'm already prepared for that because I'm not all in. Small crypto is not my whole life savings. I can go down into a bear market, go down 70-80%. And with the stuff I'm holding, I'm very confident in them. 90% of my portfolio is basically in XRP and top tokens. So Very, very confident in my investments. If they go down, I'll just buy more in the bear market and go up. However, if I do get an option, if it's very clear to me that we're going into a bear market and the charts will show me that potentially, like they did last time, then I will sell maybe 50% of my portfolio to buy in the bear market. But I don't really need to do that because I'll just buy more when it goes down, and I don't want to be out of the market. So if I see a clear opportunity to get out of the market and going into bear market, then I will sell. If we go into bear market, I'm accumulating funds, got gold, silver that we've been accumulating throughout this bull market to then put into the crypto market. So in a bear market, we'll find the bottom or near the bottom. We'll buy more. If we get an opportunity to sell before we go into bear market, we will. But we are prepared for the bull market first and foremost, because that is the risk reward on a bull market not being in. Or if there's a 50% chance that we're going to get a bull market and we're going to get an altcoin season, that means we're going to get 3, 4, 5x in the crypto market. So I want to be in for that. So that's essentially it. But if we get more information or if we do more videos on it, I will explain it further. If it's time appropriate, if I know that there's a bear market coming, I'll do a video on it. I'll explain it. If the markets are pumping and it's a time I'll be selling, I'll do some more videos on it after the FOMC. I'll give you my full analysis. So hopefully that answers it slightly. But Martyn says hello to Jason. Sorry, SBC, Thursday, October the 13th. Thank you very much, Zach8. Jason is here. Sorry I'm on vacation, but you are the best. It's been a long time. I'm glad to see you all. Hope you're doing well, Martyn. Jason Fallon, it's so lovely to have you here. A great supporter of the show. Been here for 3 years. How have you been, Jason? What have you been up to? What's happened in the last 3 years? Or the last few years? Martyn says, I'm well, mate. Why is it pumping? CPI came in lower than expected. We'll go back over to Bloomberg. Yes, little pumps. Missy Casey, how perfect. Every single reading came in perfect, just under consensus. A miracle. Yeah, I mean, it was amazing, wasn't it? Where were we? Sorry, sometimes the chat jumps and then I don't know where we are. I have no idea where we were. Oh yeah, we're here. Why is it pumping? We wish you, Martyn. Hope you're having a fantastic holiday. Yes, we do. Yes, it pumps a little. Miss UKC. Hi, Martyn. I miss your face. We all miss Martyn's face. Is that a weird thing to say? How perfect. Every single reading came in perfect, just under consensus. Hey, Zach, miss you too. Market doesn't care. No, market's up. Market does care. Thank you for upgrading to silver. Do consider upgrading to Electrum. Nick Jones says, that's my question. I always worry if that window was... There you go, Nick Jones. There's your answer. But it wasn't always. It wasn't always. It's since I redid the studio, the angle doesn't let me have it right behind me. Waiting, it's tough. Global trade war, no problem. World War III, no problem. Yes, Sensei, great things to hear translate in so many languages. Yes. Breaking news, Trump has stopped all trade deals with Canada due to Canada lying and corruption on tariffs, lies, and Ronald Reagan. Lies on Ronald Reagan? What's going on, Seth Houston?
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Is it affecting the market? Have a look at the market. Is it affecting the market? The S&P 500 is... Nope, don't think it is. Let me go 5-minute time frame. No, yeah, I mean, it's not as... no, S&P 500 is at all-time highs. Doesn't seem like anything major is going on, but thank you for that. Hi, Angie. Don't know all the details as it's happening this morning. As it's happening this morning, let me just type this in. Trump tariff. Is this live? Yeah, furious president terminates trade talks over fortunate Ronald Reagan quote. Yeah, I don't think we have any live information about that. He's just cancelled trade talks, but he does this all the time. Don't know all the... Yeah, thank you for bringing that to our attention. Sneakers, running shoes. It's a shoe brand. Oh, right, it's a shoe. Okay, got it. That's a shoe. Hi, I don't think we have them here in the UK. We've got... I think the other one he mentioned was Uggs. I think we've got Uggs here. I don't know what the other one was. Hi, Martyn. It's Rob Brennan. Hello, Rob Brennan. How are you doing? Angie here. Hello, Angie. I resubbed. It's been a while. Yes, it has. It's lovely to have you back. Been a member for over a year. Angie, nice new nickname. Martyn says, this is when real investors have to exercise patience. It's hard, sat waiting, no time in history ever have you been up in 10 years when you have been buying at these PE ratios. Remember, average is not norm. There we go. Martyn is being patient on the sidelines. Not a bad thing to do. Sneakers, shoes, thank you guys for telling me. Sorry for that long question, maybe for a later show. Yes, maybe when we do a show together, Casey, we'll discuss it. Why is Buffett holding cash equivalents? There is a reason. Yep, there we go. I'm about to start £750 a month. I'm about to start $750 a month, starting pretty much from scratch. Should I sit on the sidelines or just dollar cost average into index funds? Great question. Martyn will probably say stay on the sidelines. Again, neither of us would give advice. The suggestion has always been buy and hold. Buy with conviction and hold it if you're just doing it long term. However, as investors and as people who know the markets, I would be looking for opportunity and then buying that opportunity. I'll probably be accumulating funds, maybe slightly averaging into index funds, but accumulating a stockpile so when and if a crash comes, you can really benefit from it. Good answer. Thank you, Casey. What are your thoughts on US buying a stake in quantum computing industry? I think it's obviously bullish. It's good. I'm mostly cash now, says Dalish. Yeah, there's always two sides. So you don't want to just be left on the sideline and then the markets go up 20% and then it crashes 20% and then you're back to where you were. I mean, there's also that side. So there is a risk about being out the market, and that's why I'm very, very rarely out the market. At points I'm in the market by accumulating cash or having alternative investments that will go up if the markets crash, such as gold and silver. Like them right now, gold and silver is a great way for me to buy into the market if we crash. I would think the good CPI report would overshadow the slight bad news if it's taken as bad. Yes, Seth Houston, I agree. We might just come back to an equilibrium and come all the way back. If there's really bad tariff talks, we might just come back to where we were this morning. The market is slightly selling off now. Answering all your questions. Thank you, David Hensley, for the links. Berkshire Hathaway up 300 billion in cash / treasuries. Glad to know I'm not the only one sitting on 300 billion in cash. Thoughts on the FTSE for cheaper PE multiples around half? I don't really like the FTSE. The FTSE, I mean, for the last 30 years, you would have gone sideways and the US market would have gone to amazing heights. There's an argument now, people are moving away from the US. Is the FTSE a better investment? Well, FTSE is going up more in the past few years than it normally does. So maybe, but yeah, I mean, it's just not the best bunch of stocks. It's not the best bunch of stocks, in all honesty, the FTSE, but it depends what FTSE. There's many different FTSEs. If you're looking at the FTSE 100, that's what I'm talking about. There's the FTSE 250, there's the FTSE World Global. What do you think gold will pump to this year? Potentially, again, who knows? $5,000 is $4,700 is my next main target, and then potentially 10,000 next year. When is Martyn going again live? I think it's the 22nd of November, something like that. Stage for Life was always my nickname since early 2000s in business and on X. It was my nickname. I'm here at the beginning with Martyn. It was my nickname here at the beginning of Martyn, but it was Angie G for a while. There we go. XRP Human Beings says, are you going to start also waiting for you patiently? Yeah, well, hopefully maybe Casey will be joining the broadcasts. Rob says, Sensei, how can I start learning about crypto? I never bought any, but considering maybe 10% of my portfolio, but not sure what to buy. You'll just be best buying, pick a few from the top 10. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Dogecoin for a bit of the meme side of things. Just buy a bit of that, 5-10%, and then over time it should go up. You don't really need to know too much knowledge. You just need to buy some of the ones that are probably going to be around for 10-15 years and are top performing ones, and they'll probably continue to being top performing. and then maybe dedicate 2 or 3% to really speculative plays. That's when you might want to do some more research. But most people, if they just bought Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, they'll be doing a lot better than buying all the tokens that people buy these days. Okay, so yeah, I think that's Rob Brennan. Rob Brennan, there's this new thing with YouTube. It displays username. So if anyone wants to change that, just go into your settings and go into username and change it, or type in how to change my YouTube username, and then you can put in whatever name you want to see. So thank you everyone for tuning in today's show. What's going to happen now? This show is going to take you to the FOMC meeting. As soon as you go there, just leave a live chat, leave a comment, leave the like button. It'll take you to this over here. So in 5 days' time, the next major event is the FOMC meeting. If you go into that show, which this show, when it ends, will take you automatically there, hit the like button. More importantly, make sure you have put the notifications on. That notification bell will make sure you get notified for that event. You can leave a comment as well. One last ask is, if anyone hasn't subscribed, firstly, this is the $2,000 giveaway link. Let me give you that. This is the way to win $2,000 live on the show. There's a crypto 10 ETF that only has the top 10 by market value. I don't think in the UK we have that. But yeah, that sounds okay. But again, I'll just go for the top 3 or 4. That's the giveaway page. This is the shop. US shutdown is over. No, it's not, but we did get some important CPI today. And then the main one is the newsletter. If you haven't subscribed to the newsletter yet, there is the newsletter link. Go and subscribe. But thank you everyone for tuning in. It's been an absolutely wonderful show again with all of you. So thank you all for... Oh, I've got a ladybug on my microphone. I'll show everyone on... My room is being infested with ladybugs trying to hibernate. There we go. Anyway, thank you everyone for tuning in for another morning forecast show. We're live every single morning. I wish I can, see if I can tell you everyone in their time zone, what time we're live every morning, so you don't miss us. And the newsletter comes out just before we go live. So let me just give you the times we're live every single morning. I've written it down somewhere. What time are we live every morning? There we go. 7:30 Eastern Time, 12:30 UK Time, 1:30 Central European Time, 5 p.m. in India, 8 p.m. in Singapore, 8 p.m. in China, 9 p.m. in Japan, 10 p.m. in Sydney, 4:30 a.m. in Pacific Time. So that's when we're live every single morning. If you are a new subscriber, stay in tune with our videos and live streams that come out. Join Vaz tomorrow for his Saturday EvToll event. Join me Sunday we'll do a short live stream and then go into the Electrum event. So do try and upgrade to Electrum before Sunday. And then next week for the FOMC week. This video will take you directly to FOMC event, so you can leave a comment and everything. But thank you everyone for tuning in. What a day. CPI was down. Bull market is still active. It's still there. If we got any other result, it would be pretty bad. If we got consensus, then the market might have been going down today with that tariff news that came out yesterday. If CPI was up, the market would have taken that as a reason to crash, because the market's waiting for any reason to crash. If CPI was up over consensus, the market would have crashed. So we did get a very good result. We could have got a better result if it was even down even more, but the result was great. The Fed will cut next week. Let's see what Jerome Powell says. The bull market there is still a good chance we go into euphoria. So stay with us. We'll navigate the markets together every single day. Thank you everyone for tuning in. But until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye-bye.